You was at the cinema. I never did know that. For my check, one baby, my for one of the one. Just to make mama cry. They want to make mama cry. Mama, you gonna cry no more. They was to put no less than fire. I don't get fire. Oh, we just saw you. Silent, it's silent. You are one person, one life. It's silent. Don't take it back, my love. It's silent. Don't take it back, my love. It's silent. Oh, but then you're all but your pride. It's silent. Oh, but you're all but your pride.
Yeah. I have to put that on the floor, please. I'm live already. Just FYI.
Me tired.
All right.
Seriously?
Wow.
Your jam for.
What's up, people? What's up, Christy? Sure, sis Lola is in Jamaica. Is this for me?
Oh, she said I'm in Jamaica. Hey, I'm wearing my headband today. Okay, because I'm tired of all this photo.
Yeah. All right, let's get started. What's up,
Yes.
everybody?
Hello.
Hi. What happened, man? Let's make sure we can see your face over there.
Yes, you can.
What's up, Instagram? What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? Wherever you're plugging in from. Hi, Fumi. Fumi says yes, she is. Welcome. We're going to talk about this today. We have a big topic: in-laws. And African and Nigerian people always feel like this issue is only they're the only one dealing with it. So if you can hear us clearly, please let us know that you can hear us clearly.
Let me
think
come.
we should be
Let me
fine.
come closer.
Let's just let me see.
Closer to the mic.
Okay, yeah. So I tested it myself. We can hear, so we can get started. So today we're talking about a big topic: in-laws. In-laws. Some smart people call it in-love. Anyway,
In love.
before I get started, here's my beautiful wife, Lola OLA.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, some people call it in-love.
They do.
And I thought when I started hearing that some few years back, I thought that was really, really nice. So please, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. If you're watching us, please help us share wherever you're watching from. Thank you for me. Please help us share everywhere. We're everywhere. So please bring people in because they need to. There's a lot of people struggling with this situation. And we feel like we have some value we can bring to the table.
She said, "Are we live on IG?" Yes, we are.
We're live on IG. Yes, we are live on IG.
Lola and Ola.
Oh, that was a question. Sorry.
Lola and Ola.
So we're talking about marriage issues. Of course, this is the third episode of its kind. We're going for 1,000 episodes? 100?
Well, it's endless because there's so many.
It's a never-ending topic. Right?
Yeah, it's a never-ending topic.
So I feel like make sure that you watch the previous episodes before this one because there's some stuff in there that we're just not going to cover here. But yeah, we're here to talk about in-laws and marriage. So let's define in-law. What's in-laws? I know most people just want to talk about mother-in-law. Take it easy on the mother-in-law, especially if you have a son.
You're going to become a mother-in-law one day, Abby. It's true. It's real life shit. We all have to unlearn all this nonsense that is going on. We all have to.
You're going to have to become a mother-in-law. At least you probably hope. Most people hope to be. If you have sons, you hope to become mother-in-laws someday.
I mean, you'll be a mother-in-law anyway if you have kids that are getting married,
Yeah.
So you be an in-law. So we need to learn how to nurture those relationships because I think those relationships are the toughest of marriages.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
They are.
All right. So last week we discussed some other celebrity. I just changed the thing right now. I was scrolling it by mistake.
Okay.
So we talked about Latoya Luckett last week. There's some big lessons in that as well. So today you have a story.
Yeah, I have an email that we got, and that's what actually inspired today's topic on in-laws because one of our followers sent us an email and they said we should keep them anonymous. I mean, people are going through stuff, but people don't necessarily want to talk about it, but he's in desperate need of advice. So
they don't want their business out there.
Yeah, it's an open floor for everyone to help us advise this wonderful couple.
Right. Okay, go ahead and share that story with us. So again, we're talking about in-laws. Everyone always feel like they're the one dealing with in-laws. It doesn't matter if it's the husband or the wife. For the most part, I think most of the stories we hear is
mother-in-law.
Wife.
We women, we're so spicy. We're spicy,
Wife and mother-in-laws. But believe it or not, men deal with in-laws, and the trouble that comes with that. And we're going to talk about all of it today. We have some questions already too that we're going to answer. But if you have questions as we go along, please post them as well.
Yes.
I was stylishly winding time away so you can keep that open.
It is open, but babe, it's going to close at some point.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Let's get going.
All right, let's get to it.
All right.
So let me read the email. It said, "I, Lola and Ola, please keep me anonymous. I'm in a dilemma. I can't choose between my wife and my mom. My wife is from another tribe, and my mom never liked her from the day we met. From the day they met. We dated for a year and have been married for 5 years. We have 3-year-old twins. My mother has been nagging me for 2 years now to have more kids, and I and my wife don't want any more because we are blessed with a boy and a girl. Recently, my mom came to my house without calling me and told me I have to marry another wife, particularly Yoruba."
2020.
Oh my God. Dude.
In 2020?
Yes. It said, okay, I gotta go back. Recently, my mom came to my house without calling me and told me I have to marry another wife, particularly Yoruba, to give her more grandbabies. And unfortunately,
So for the international audience, Yoruba is a tribe in Africa.
and this couple, they are from different tribes. So I think
Right.
the guy is Yoruba and the girl is Igbo.
So intertribal marriage.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're throwing me off. Well, again, sorry guys, I gotta go back one more time. Recently, my mom came to my house without calling me and told me I have to marry another wife, particularly Yoruba, to give her more grandbabies. And unfortunately, Tina heard and felt offended. She told me Mama have to leave the house the next day. Mama heard our voices and stormed out that day. Unfortunately for her, she got into an accident on an Okada bike, which led to the amputation of one of her legs. The entire family is upset. I have tried to plead with them that it's not Tina's fault, and my mom said I have to choose between her and my wife. I love my mom dearly because she suffered so much for me and my brother. I also love my wife dearly for always being there for me. Without her, I wouldn't be the man I am today. Help me, I'm confused.
He's confused. No. I want to hear your take first. And then we got to dive into.
Why you got to hear my
long email? But we have to. There's a lot of details in there that are all kind of like standalone topics on their own. So, but what's your take first before we get started on this? What's your take?
Well, this is a very, very sad situation. It's sad because they had the mother had an accident due to all the drama.
Somebody said must be Nigeria with Okada. Yeah,
it's Nigeria. It's Nigeria, my people.
Right.
It's Nigeria. I feel really bad that the mother had an accident. But at the same time, I feel bad for the guy for having to choose between his mother and his wife.
Is this the same DJ Dime? Sorry to interrupt you. Is this Femi DJ Dime?
Who's DJ Dime?
DJ Dime. But keep going, babe.
Okay, baby. You didn't tell me who DJ Dime is.
DJ Dime, Momo. Right?
I'm curious. Oh, okay.
Jesus. Only yes. What's up, brother?
Hi. Anyway, I feel bad for the husband for him to choose between his wife and his mom. It's such an unfair place to be. And in my opinion, I feel like he will have to give it time.
The husband?
Yeah, he will have to give his mother and the entire family time to heal so they can, forgive and forget what has happened. Because from what he's saying, he loves his wife. He does not want to leave his wife.
Okay.
His wife is awesome.
Right.
But Mama came and started causing trouble.
Right.
After one boy, one girl. In today's world, most people don't want to have more than 2 kids.
Right.
And I'm not saying that it's mama's fault, but this is the era that mama is coming from. She has forgotten that things have changed. And I still don't want to be harsh on mama, but mama needs to, stay in papa's house and let them figure themselves out. Now, his issue is bringing his wife and his mother together. I would say let time be the judge of that. You can't force those things. It's such a hard situation right now.
Right.
But I won't say he should leave his wife, because that's just not right.
Let's see here.
His wife is his family now.
Christy says, okay, in Nigeria, even anywhere. No, this happens everywhere. Of course, there are some, somebody picked up Okada. There's some elements of your Nigerian there, but this happens everywhere.
It does.
Even anywhere, the man just have to put the mother in her place. He was never wrong. It's sad that the mom had an accident.
Right.
Oh, it's the mom that had an accident.
Yes, because she stormed out of the house.
But then she goes, that was her fault. Oh my God. Jesus. Easy. And let me read this.
The entire family don't want to have anything to do with the wife, by the way, by now.
So there's no relationship between the wife
and the family? There's no relationship. First, because of tribe.
That's good to know.
And secondly, because of, what happened. The accident.
Digidime says, LOL, 5 kids is equal to 50,000. Is that dollars or naira being spent?
Hey.
I know, right? That,
that's a lot of money.
There's multiple issues here. There's she's asking him to marry another wife, and then multiple
in 2020.
All right, so in 2020, right?
Wow, who does this?
Let's keep going. Christy says he has to stand his ground to the mom and his family. The wife doesn't have to do anything on her part.
I agree.
You agree? Okay.
100.
All right. So no, open that, because we need to dive in through that. There's a lot of details in there, and I'm gonna have to have you. Let me have it so I can just go through it myself.
Right.
I can't choose between my mom and my wife. That one is easy. You should always choose your wife over your mother. Now, keep me in context, okay? Context matters here, right? See, this is a grown man. We're talking to grown men, by the way. We're talking about the grown men, not necessarily boys. There's a lot of people that are married that are still boys, and they have to go through that phase until they figure out putting your mom first before your wife does not work. It just doesn't, okay? We're talking about priorities. We're talking about in certain respect. We're not talking about you want to sit in front of the car. We're not talking about you want to prostrate the ballet, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about just with respect to your marriage.
Right.
Should you put your mother or your family first? It should always be, it's not even just family. You should always put your wife first before the kids. Sorry, babe.
Oh.
You should always put your wife, kids first before the kids. This is particularly for the purpose of structure, just in case you get into a situation where there's issues. You have to pick one before the other.
Fact.
Picking one before the other doesn't mean you get to disrespect the other.
Right.
It has nothing to do with that. It's just if you had to prioritize things, which often you find yourself having to prioritize things. Don't show it yet, because I want to address it when I show it.
Oh, okay.
Yep. All right. So it says we dated for a year. Okay. All right. So we know the timeline there. My mom has been nagging me for 2 years now to have more kids. If your mom is nagging you, it's a testament to how you show up in the relationship between you and your mom. Your mom does not trust you that you are a man. The only reason why your parents come into your business because you invited them, and they come in because now you've proven to them that they can't trust you to be a man. All right, we have Shion. Hi, Shion. Everyone should have their space, and of course, boundaries must be set. We're going to talk about boundaries too. Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right. So, right?
It's boundaries. Lack of boundaries.
If you are showing up in a marriage or any relationship in a way that the other party, it could be your mother, it could be your wife, that they can't trust you, they will take that space for you, meaning they will lead the charge. And that usually means chaos. If you have a woman leading ahead of you, especially when the woman is just, kind of bought into the idea that they thought they married a leader, but I understand in 2020, there may be some people that say, hey, I just want to lead. Oh, good for you. Most people still want Most women still want a man who can lead. All right. So since recently my mom came to my house without calling me and told me I have to marry another wife, particularly Yoruba, to give her more grandbabies. Okay. So if your in-law comes to your house unexpectedly, it's not really much of a big deal. Okay. You can make it a big deal if you want, but it's not really much of a big deal. But again, they feel like it's okay. It depends on how you say things, you say what you say. No, I'm not lying. I got you. I know where you're going there.
It's not that easy.
The easiest thing to say is, no, don't come to my house. No, let's set boundaries.
You won't say that, yeah.
Oh, you can read between the lines, even if you say it in the condescending slow. Oh, they can read between the lines too, So you want to use some wisdom. The truth is that the man should take the charge there,
Of course, especially if that's his mom.
But there's a but there. If this is your mother-in-law and you're a man, you should let your wife figure that out. And you should exercise lots of patience when you're figuring that out, But we'll talk about that again in details as time goes on. I just want to make sure I get through the emails and some of the important things in the email. So her coming over to your house, if you overreact to that, she's going to feel disrespected. Your wife is still going to feel embarrassed because she doesn't necessarily want to be in that picture between you and your mom. She doesn't necessarily want that, So you have to use lots of wisdom when you handle that. First thing is, you're a king. Don't react right now. Even if you're going to express later, about next time, use some wisdom.
Especially if mama is coming with her load for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you still have to be patient.
Yeah, I get that. You have to be patient.
Because she could have died. She could have, like you guys mentioned, that she had an accident too, right? She could have just got hit by a car right there, and she has to stay with you for the next 1 year. So what? That's still one of your mothers. If she's incapacitated and she has to stay with you, a lot of people struggle with that. Anyone can be incapacitated. It could be you. It could be anybody.
I get that, but I think it's the part that there's no relationship there.
Yes, we're going to address that too. We're going to address that too. Unfortunately for her, she got into an accident. Okay. Mama heard. Sorry, I'm skipping through here. Oh my God, I don't like this black background. Okay, so you don't want any more kids. Again, your mom doesn't trust you. You can make a decision. My mom will never come to me and ask me how many kids I want to have. She just wants, okay? And no, it's not because my mom is better. Any mom you bring or you allow into, I'm using that allow word carefully, that you allow into your world, meaning they can't trust you. You're not holding your grounds. I mean, this thing starts from when you're even choosing a wife.
Right.
When you're choosing a wife, your mom will, if she doesn't trust you that you've shown up that you can make a decision, she's going to try and attempt to make decisions for you.
Or if you ask her, mommy, she'll like you. Or mommy, do you like my wife? Do you like my girlfriend? This is the girl I want to marry. No, that's not right. You come and say, this is my girl.
You're asking for permission, right?
Exactly. This is who I'm marrying.
So kings, it's not like kings don't ask for permission. Kings can ask for opinions, can ask for, what do you call
advice.
Okay, what do you think? They can ask for, what do you think about this, that, but they don't ask for permissions, And yes, they can get some value out of your advice, out of your opinions, but they don't ask for permissions. They typically know how to make a decision in the presence of limited information, right? Big topic we're not going to cover right now. Tina heard and felt offended. Okay, of course she will feel offended. Now, her feeling offended is not Mama's fault. Mama is not married to Tina. It's how you handle that makes all the difference. First of all, you don't overreact. Relax. Let her express herself. And then eventually with time, let her come up with why Mama acted that way. I understand. It's probably because she's just a mother. She's territorial. Women will tell you that for you.
Women are territorial.
You don't want to. No, let her say that. You don't want to throw your mother under the bus because she would still not respect you if you do that. That's not what she wants you to do. The bottom line, what she doesn't want you to do is that she doesn't want you to embarrass her in whatever you do, right? The entire family is upset. I have tried to plead with them. So you're pleading with, again, we already addressed that they don't trust you. to make a decision, but now you're pleading with them, meaning you are not backing up your decisions or whatever you've chosen to do in your life, meaning you're still asking them for permission. You're seeking approval.
Well, he's pleading with them after the fact that Mama had the accident.
Oh, I'm jumping.
Yes, baby.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a reaction here that you're missing.
Let me take you guys enjoying the way I'm processing it. Maybe I'm feeling like I'm spending too much time on the email, but let me take my time, I guess. I have to marry another wife. That's where I was, right? Okay.
No, Tina felt offended, baby.
Right. Tina
heard and felt offended.
Awesome. Thank you. She told me, Mama have to leave the next day. Well, if your wife comes to you and addresses you in that way, that Mama has to leave the next day, again, your wife probably don't trust you that you can make the right decision, right? If your wife respected you, right, which is, by the way, respect for you is a byproduct, right? Meaning it's how do you say that? It's something that happens based on your behavior in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's earned. Respect is earned. So if your wife doesn't have respect for you in this moment, she will suggest things like that. Now, how you respond to all of that is what matters, But with this email, there's a good chance that you're responding with a lot of overreaction, and then you apologize, and then you overreact, and then you apologize. Both extreme of both ends. Basically, you don't have a center, right? You don't have a balance. You're not a rock, right? So unfortunately, Mama heard our voices and stomped out that day. Okay. Unfortunately for her, she got into an accident on an Okada bike, which led to the amputation of her legs.
One of her legs.
The entire family is upset because she got into an accident. Okay. So again, the entire family, there's a good chance that they're all in your business already.
Yeah, and they feel like probably Tina is the one that chased their mama out of the house. And
this would happen in any family. This will, again,
they
if
always
you let
blame
them
the
in,
women.
Everyone has opinions about your relationship. That's just the way it works. Thank you, baby, for keeping that up. Everyone will have opinions about your relationship if there is no man,
boundaries.
If there is no leaders.
Yeah.
Boundaries, you can set boundaries, but boundaries, when you set it in a way that as a reaction, it's not good.
It's not good. Yeah.
The boundaries should be there. People should already see that, like, oh, these people, they got their shit together. Let me help them,
Right.
Let me not mess up what they got going on. But there will be crisis sometimes. How you react to the crisis is what determines if you're still the king of your household. If you have chosen or behaved in the past like you're not the king of your household, let me tell you something. Even when you're the king of your household, people have opinions about your relationship. It's just you're allowing them to voice it into the dynamics and the energy of your house when you do bring them in.
And that actually ends up affecting your own family.
Yes. And when you say your own family, you mean your immediate?
No,
your children and
okay. Like
all right.
Let you,
because a lot of people make that mistake. They don't know what their family is. If
your
married,
family is your own. I mean, immediate family, your wife and your kids.
If you're married,
that's your family.
Your family now, as the point you start that you're married, your family is you and your wife and your kids.
Right.
Everything else, like extended.
Yes.
Okay. And that means the same place as your friend, your co-workers, and of course, family is family. But just keep that in mind that, again, we're talking from a standpoint of you got to have structure if you're going to lead a family. If you're going to have a harmonious marriage, you have to have structures, The entire family is upset. I have tried to plead with them. That's not that it's not Tina's fault. And my mom said I have to choose between her and her wife.
And my wife.
So basically, she's helping you decide. Now let's say you've misbehaved in the past, right? But you're trying to get up, step it up, and now become the king of your household. All of that's going to require a lot of patience. Like you said, give her time. You start behaving properly right now, then you give her time to align herself with the fact that you're now the king of your household. It doesn't mean you don't have to go to her or your wife and say, hey, I'm the king now. The more words you say, the more, the less you actually get what I'm saying, I also love my wife dearly for always being there for me. Without her, I wouldn't be the man I am today. Help me. I'm confused. All right. So confusion, when you're confused, it's time to learn something new. All right. Confusion comes from lack of structure, right? Like look at what the whole nation is going through today, right
Oh
now.
my God, it's terrible.
They thought they were structured, but now they have to put some more structure into the system to pretty much stop certain misbehavior that encourages racism, right? People are people. People will misbehave if you don't have structure in place.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of right. I always say it's not about right and wrong. It's not a matter of they should know the right thing to do. Trust me, everyone knows what the right thing is, but all of us, we throw that out the window when we're hurting, when we're in any kind of pain, right? When we feel like we're not being heard, right? When we feel like somebody is abusing or manipulating, or what's the last word there? When we feel like, if we feel hurt, if there's any level of pain, emotional, spiritual, we throw the right thing out the window. We do whatever it takes to
emotional
survive.
beings.
We're emotional beings.
Yeah.
When you're emotional, you're not thinking right and wrong. You may think you're thinking right and wrong. You're wrong. I just used the word wrong, but you get the point, right? So my advice for this guy, the one thing, we have the GPS structure, right? God, purpose, and self, right? The way that fits in, like, first of all, in the middle of all that crisis, he needs to be praying, because what just happened has the power to destroy that whole family.
Yes.
But let me go through some of the things here. Thank you for participating here. Please, if you have anything, let's just look at Instagram. I know some people were saying some things earlier. Thank you so much for inviting our friends, Michelle. I've been in this situation before. Yeah, it's very common. Love of mom is very different from the love a man has for wife. But some men cannot show it, maybe in order to not disrespect their mom. But family comes first. Yes, absolutely. But again, it comes down to, at the back of your mind as a man,
you gotta be a stand-up man.
You got to understand that if you're not being a man in your situation, your mother is going to come in and be the man.
Yes.
Or your wife is going to come in and be the man. And it's not about how much you talk or you say. It's about how you show up. It's the energy that you bring. When you ask for permissions, approvals, and things like that, from either way, it goes wrong, And I know some people say, oh, but it's okay to listen. You can listen to advice from people, and you should. And you should get opinion from your wife. But sometimes your wife will make a decision, babe. I get that from her all the time, And I didn't understand it at first. Make a decision. No, she wants you to lead and make a decision at that point. She has a lot on her plate that she's dealing with as a woman in this society.
I want to be included, but I don't want to necessarily make the decisions. So,
yes. And even if you make a decision, right, it's okay.
Yeah.
The point is that if you're not willing to make a decision,
I need you to step up and do that.
Be available to make that decision.
Yes.
Everyone should have their space, and of course, boundaries must be set. Yes, I agree completely. So a lot of these things happen as byproduct. Like for me, I've never really had to set boundaries, but the way I set boundaries is working on myself.
Yes.
And then allowing time, right?
Because I feel like a lot of people don't understand how boundaries can be set. I think that's what the issue is. Everyone knows boundaries have to be set.
Yes.
But how do you set down boundaries that, these two people that you love so dearly in your life don't end up hurting each other?
Yeah.
Because this is real life shit. Most people complain about their in-laws all the time, and it affects their marriage, and they go separate ways because of in-law issues. So it's a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so common, and a lot of people are dealing with it. What do you want to do? Pin it?
No.
Okay. A lot of people are dealing with it. They're dealing with it for years before they actually start voicing it out.
Yes.
Right. So, and that's why it's important that we talk about this, because some people already feel like, is this woman overstepping her boundaries? Am I feeling disrespected? I'm not even sure if I'm feeling disrespected, or maybe temite poju. How do you say that in English? Maybe I'm overreacting.
You're doing too much.
You're doing too much. Right? Maybe I'm overreacting, right?
Yes.
A lot of people are not sure. They're trying to figure out if I'm overreacting or, So, and that can be confusing, especially for a woman. Am I overreacting, or I need to check this woman, or I need to wait for my man to figure this out, or vice versa? Like, this is my mother-in-law, my man, right? Do I need to check this woman? Do I need to just tell her, don't disrespect me? Listen, none of that is going to work. All of that is, like a lot
It's
of
going to
people,
make it worse.
Anything you do out of reaction
It doesn't come
will
out
make
well.
things worse.
Yeah.
That person, just always think about, if I say this, now the fact that you're taking the moment to think about it means you're already winning above most people.
You're thinking before you talk.
You're thinking before you talk. If I say this, what would this make my mother-in-law feel? Right? Yeah, what I'm about to say is right, but right, overrated. Intentions, overrated. Right? It's about the impact from an emotional standpoint that I'm about to leave on this person with respect to my marriage. Is this scene I'm about to make create embarrassment for my wife? Even though on the surface, she'll be happy. Right? How many things do we have out there that on the surface it looks like it will make my wife happy, but at the end of it, she wasn't happy because it created embarrassment,
awkwardness. I mean, you have to deal with this person for the rest of your life. So the key here is not to actually cut off this person out of their life, because you can't cut them off.
That's the in-laws.
So
right?
How do you fix that? How do you make someone that can't stand your ass now start to like you?
That's the question.
Yes. Instead of, this is what most people will say, the mother-in-law is just an evil person. Just don't mind that.
Like we know that already.
We know she's acting out.
In fact, we know she's evil.
Yeah.
Her behaviors are
But how
evil.
do you switch that around?
But you saying that does not solve your problem.
No, it doesn't. Because now you have this wonderful man that this evil woman
came from. And he probably doesn't want to hear that. What do you mean my mother is evil?
Hello? Even if your mother is a witch. Even if your mother is a witch with blood in her mouth, you still not gonna call her a witch because that's your mom.
Yeah, that's my witch mother.
Exactly.
How dare you?
Monkey no fine, in mama like him. So I feel like we need to be more solution oriented.
Right.
With these issues.
With respect to emotions.
We can't just cut people out. Cutting people out does not fit, especially people in your family that matters the most to you. You have to look at a way to bring them around. But I believe time fixes most things. Maybe not all things.
Because time is part of the equation in patience.
Right.
And patience is a virtue.
It is.
And anything that's worthwhile takes time.
Yes.
So that's why reactions are 100% destructive. It doesn't matter if it was the right thing. Again, like I said, right thing in relationships and emotions are overrated. Your intentions are overrated. You could have the good intention and your actions is creating the opposite result for you. Right? That
is so real.
Christy says, anger led her to that destruction. God forgives me. Yeah, God will forgive you, But you're stating facts, obviously she stormed out.
Right.
Imagine if that lady didn't have any kids. It would have been hell.
A bigger hell. Because she's still in hell. But it's going to be a bigger hell for this lady.
She's already in hell. She's already in hell,
Fact.
But that's the beauty about all of this thing. With pain comes growth. And that's why we're having these discussions. These things are painful for all parties involved. But there's a priority. There's a marriage involved. That means there's a home for kids. There's some kids in that house, 2 kids, right? That's involved. So the priority for a man, a king of his household, should be the household. Your wife first, over the kids.
Yes.
Why? Because you need that supporting system to govern your home. It's kind of dumb. Well, not kind of. It's terribly dumb to put your kids over your wife. Okay. But I mean that in the nicest way. Right? Because I hear people say, oh no, my kids, that's because you're struggling with your marriage and your relationship.
Yes.
When you're struggling with your marriage and your relationship, now making your kids your husband does not help you. It's actually destroying the kids.
Yeah, because you're showing them the wrong example. Yeah, you're teaching them behavior. Because honestly, I think parenting is very, very God will help us.
Amen.
Because it can be very tough.
Yeah.
The way we actually raise our kids is not by telling them do this, do that. It's what we do that our kids emulate at the end of the day.
Yes.
When you see all those people out here acting a fool,
it's the same thing
they didn't just act a fool. They got it from somewhere, and it's from home. So we as spouses, we have a lot of work to do. We can't just say, oh no, because the man is not clinical, because my wife is not clinical, I'm just gonna fight, I'm gonna do this. You gotta
What's clinical in English?
I'm just trying
I'm just kidding.
Like, instead of just going for the obvious, that's overreacting and fighting all the time, or arguing, or being passive aggressive, we have to be more solution oriented. Yes. We have to come, because our kids are watching us all the way. I know when I tell the kids, do this. If I'm not doing
they're not
that,
listening.
They're not listening.
Yeah.
It's
more for your words. No, because the same thing is applicable when we're talking about your mother-in-law and your wife or your spouse, right?
Yes.
Same thing is applicable. They're not listening to. Remember what I said earlier? It's because they've seen your behavior and they don't trust you with decision making. Right. So they're making decisions for you as a man. Right. As a woman, it's slightly different. We're going to talk about that. But as a man, with the household, with the man, it's the same thing with kids. They're watching what we do.
That's all.
People are watching. Like, boundaries will be set by your behavior. Using your words is okay. You know, like if you have to, like for my wife, I may tell her I don't like this, just to communicate, right? But beyond that, it's my behavior that I have to use to communicate that. Because if I have to use words over and over again, something is broken, and usually it's just people being people. Yes, it's behavior. Behavior is the best. Like, it's the same thing with apology. The best apology is change behavior. So you have to learn you have to work on yourself and make sure you're showing up with energy, self-confidence. That makes people trust you and say, oh, no, I don't want to mess anything up for this guy. No, I'm not going to go into his household to mess that up. That's a function of you, not your mother. Okay? So let's keep going here.
People can say, oh, no, why can't you just talk to your mother? Why can't your mother change? And I know, I've been there, but I have to realize that you can't control other human beings. You can't
control another adult.
You can only control yourself.
Not even your spouse.
Yeah, you can control your spouse. So what am I doing that is making this person feel like they can just be so disrespectful?
How are you contributing into the issues?
Yeah, so I realized that I got to change some things about myself. Maybe I'm not communicating properly. Maybe I'm coming off as passive aggressive. Maybe I'm being too bougie. Use my words, behavior as well, show love to get love. And that always
as a rule
work.
Of thumb for me, please help us share the platform and everything. As a rule of thumb for me, I use my words just once.
Don't overuse your words.
By the time I'm using my word the second time, that is now called nagging. Yes, and I still do. By the way, I'm human like everybody else. Okay. What happened? You're laughing.
I'm laughing because you're a talker.
By the time I'm using my words the second time on the same issue, that now
you're feeling funny within yourself.
That means I'm nagging, and that's not going to create the result I'm looking for.
No, it's not.
It's not going to create the result. If I have to use my word a second time in the dynamic of that relationship, there's a way I am contributing to allow for that to continue to happen. Okay, and whatever that is, when I say change behavior, helping you in your marriage and change dynamics, it must involve time and patience. And you have to be generous with that, because when it starts paying off, it's absolutely worth it.
It is.
If you could just change your behavior and it start happening right away, then it's easier. That's anything I'm saying is easier said than done.
And I know some people probably feel, but I'm a perfect human being. I am so sweet. No. You gotta go to the mirror and then look into that mirror and say, hey, let's keep it real with ourselves.
What's the English of hey?
Baby, hey is hey.
Okay. Prince Ayola says, mother do that a lot. Mother still want to control yourself. We all want to control, but we all want to control, especially a loved one that's showing up.
Yes.
As they're not capable, as they're not competent. We want to help.
Yes.
And the way we come off, will look like we're controlling. Okay, so it takes a highly emotionally intelligent woman, mother-in-law, to say no matter what they're going through, every now and then you find one. You're like, oh, the mother says no, she doesn't want, because she's thought about it, she's seen that, but not just thought about it, not just because she's seen it, because she's studied it and realized that it doesn't help to poke nose, even when they look like they're going through crisis. You have to allow them to follow through. The best thing you can say is that why you guys need to seek certified counselor.
Yes.
That's the only advice a mother-in-law should give. But again, the mother, I'm not going to blame the mother because she's not in the marriage.
She's not.
Because most mothers, including all of us that we're watching right now, when you have a son, you will come off 99%. You will come off that way. When it comes down to if you feel like your son is not safe or they're not happy, there's no mother that want to feel like, again, it's a feeling. It doesn't have to be the reality. It's when they feel like their son is not happy, they will react. And the way they react, it's not pleasant. It's never pleasant because they are mothers. They have that motherly instinct thing going on.
Yeah.
And they're just humans.
Natural.
Okay.
It's natural. Even right now, we have to train ourselves not to be the same when our kids are getting married. We have to.
Yeah.
I think
one
thing I've said to myself is, I don't want to be that woman. That will not be in my kids' business.
And if you're not aware, you will be that woman.
Yeah. Why? Is it that I don't have anything to do? I don't have a life or something? I don't want to be that woman.
Yeah.
So I am training myself how to, even if I have the most difficult daughter-in-law in the world, the fact that my son has chosen that this is the woman I want to be with, I have to respect that.
Yep.
And I have to work on how to communicate with my daughter-in-law, period.
Yep.
So no excuses for the mother-in-laws. But in this kind of situation, unfortunately, you will have to focus on your own marriage rather than the environmental factor, because mother-in-law is being an environmental factor right now.
That's just what that is. That's what that is. And the only way they have effect on your marriage is if you allow them in. Allow them in could be you want to report your wife.
That's
allowing them in. You want to report. They can't
wrong.
Trust you as a couple if you do that. So they're going to bring up, you're allowing the devil in.
Yes.
That's just what's happening.
The devil's going to use them to destroy your marriage.
So Eva just says, but why did Mama let anger get best of her? That's what we're talking about, guys. It's not the wife's fault. Well, it's not about fault. It's not about blame. It's not about guilt. It's not about fault. It's not about right. It's not about wrong. This is not an exact science. It's stuff that takes practice. And it starts with you, the individual that's complaining at the moment. No, not your spouse. I'm not worried about your spouse when you're the one complaining.
He's the one that is confused. So he's
the person that wrote the email.
The fact that he's confused right now, oh my God, I feel bad for the wife.
So what does that say about a man who is confused? It's very common, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. I used to be there. When you're confused, right? You're not a king in your castle.
You're not going to make the best decisions.
We can't trust you, even if you would. We can't trust you, and now we're going to attempt, until you check us with your behavior, we're going to attempt to help you out, especially if I'm your sibling, if I'm your brother, especially if I'm your mother.
Yes.
I'm going to help you, make you feel better. All right? Mama should self-reflect. No, Mama is not in the marriage. No, this is the problem that people have. As a matter
of fact, Mama doesn't care right now. She's selfish.
Mama is irrelevant.
She's just being selfish right now, and she's being manipulative right now. You see, my leg is gone because of you and your wife. In fact, it's your wife.
And rightfully so.
No, in fact, it's your wife that cut my leg. She actually did it to me.
She would say those things.
That's what she's saying right now.
And if you don't step up to be a man, still, it will get worse.
Yeah.
It will continue to go downhill. Because, think about it. Let's even talk about the story, the way it's framed right now. My wife, because the way you structured that email, say, my wife caused my mother to lose her leg. That's the way you structured it at the end of the day. Why is that story related to Mama losing her leg? Mama was hungry.
Yes.
She's responsible for her hunger. Hunger is temporary insanity.
Fact.
So anything can happen when you're angry, right? Anything can happen.
Yeah.
But what happened has nothing to do with the realities of life, which is you guys are in a marriage, and she came there and she stormed out, and she could never, because not everybody has to go through school. Some people just have the intelligence to say, let me let these people sort their issues out. Most people don't. It's not just man or woman thing. Most human beings don't have the emotional intelligence to say, I know I'm doing the right thing, but what does this right thing in my mind, in my delusional head, mean on the other side? That's emotional intelligence. And sometimes you have to go through multiple levels, not just on the person I'm interacting with. What if this person take you back home? Remember, the family is now all angry, right?
Yes.
What if this person now says in other places? You have to, if you want a happy life, it's not even marriage alone. If you want a happy life, you have to relax. When you relax, 30 seconds, you'll be able to think things through before you utter what you think is right or wrong in your own little world. At the end of the day, we all have blind spots. You know, so what we think is right is not necessarily, it's not relevant.
Because now Tina's got more enemies now.
Yeah.
By defending Tina at your family house.
Right.
Not stepping up and saying, you know what, I'm going to give you guys time. You know, we're really sorry that happened to my mother. Of course, we have empathy, but I'm going to give you time. And, you know, we love you. Anytime you need something, feel free to ask me and just move on with your life. If you can't do that, you go there and defend like, but Mama, it's not Tina's fault. You stormed out of the house. Now the family hates you more. They're like,
yeah, you can't say that either.
You gotta be careful.
You can't,
You're making more enemies.
Kings won't say something like that.
Yeah, more enemies for your wife. Now your wife, she can't feel good.
No.
You know that my husband is defending me. That's not what we women want.
It looks good on the surface.
Yeah, that's not necessarily what we want. You now got me more enemies. Now I got to deal with that issue again. And now a whole lot of people don't like me because of this mess.
Yep. Let's Mama should self-reflect. So no, Mama doesn't have to do shit if our marriage is okay. If her own expectation is more important than her child's happiness, again, if your expectation is that your mother will know how to behave, your marriage will fail. I'm telling you right now, if your expectation is that even if your mother is perfect, maybe your mother-in-law is not, you're still in the same problem. Right? Now, keep in mind, we would have addressed this a little bit differently if this was Tina, the wife, that was complaining. Yes. We have to address it from the standpoint of the person that's complaining because they have power, because they have desire. They have the power of desire, and they can change things starting with them.
That's true.
Because we're social people. Yeah. How I behave affects how you behave.
Of course.
We reflect off of each other like mirror. The person that's complaining is where you start from. Because if you keep waiting for the day that's going to be all kumbaya and both of us will just come together and we know how to behave, that day will never come. It starts with one person, and if God has given you the power to be the one complaining, that's actually a blessing in disguise, believe it or not. You can now change things around by how you show up in that relationship. First step, priorities. Priorities. As a man, especially, priorities. Second step, the marriage first, which means your wife first. Because marriage is like, there's no such thing as building church. It's the people, right? Wife, right? Wife, when I say wife, emotionally, from here, right? So saying some things because you want to make her feel good in the moment does not help.
No.
In the long run. So relax. It's not about talking. It's about relaxing. Relax and see. Let me process this, babe. Let me just process it. You know, it's a lot going on. It's chaos. How do you fix chaos? It's not by reacting. Okay. So let's go on to some mother-in-law won't control all that happened in their son's home, which is very bad. No, that's some. All. If the son is showing up like it's not
like a weakling.
Like the weakling.
Yeah.
Right? All of them, they want that. Not that they want it, their behavior is going to show like they want it. Trust me, there's no mother-in-law that really wants that. No. And I'm not justifying anything. I remember I already said they will behave in that way.
Yes.
If you let them. If they can't trust you that you can handle your home, they will behave in that way because they are also weak emotionally, for the most part, to see that they shouldn't. There's a chance that you will have a mother who wouldn't know when to stop, or a mother-in-law who wouldn't know where to stop. There's an extremely like 90+ chance that that's going to happen. So just having a perfect mother is not good enough, as you can see.
So, but my question to you right now, because I feel like now that you're saying that, if we're saying that they will behave a certain way if you let it.
Yes.
How do you because I feel like some people think by checking their mom is the way to create boundaries. Like checking your mom, like we talked about, checking your wife in front of your mother, checking your mother in front of your wife. How do you balance that out? Because I feel like none of the two helps.
If nobody is being threatened for safety and security, you don't have to check shit in the moment.
I actually feel checking doesn't help because it's like an attack on one person. That person would defend themselves,
right.
And it just makes it.
How do you say it in English? If you're about to hurt yourself physically, right? Then I may want to say, "Hey, you're about to hurt yourself." Right. But if there's no physical hurt, if it's just emotional, I'll let that dynamic play itself out. And if there's anything I could do, I handle it individually with individual parties.
And I agree with that because sometimes people
and the same thing with children, by the way.
Like you said earlier on, like people will do certain things just to make you feel like, oh, you want to make your wife feel good. So now you're chastising your mom in front of your wife. That's not what we're asking you to do.
No.
Or you want to make your mother feel like, oh yeah, I love you today. You're my mother. Now you're chastising your wife in front. That is totally wrong.
Because make feel good falls in almost the same categories, almost equivalent, if not the same as approval-seeking behavior. Again, you're telling people subconsciously that they can't trust your decisions. If all you're doing is making people feel good, you can't make people need to be happy by themselves. However, you do bring dynamics into the play,
right?
To help the dynamic because you're involved in the dynamics, right? But this is for you because the S on the GPS itself. This is for you. You're involved in a situation. The only way you can give is to be able to give to yourself first. So give yourself some harmony, relax. Even when people are in chaos, relax. Unless they're about to physically hurt themselves. Then you say, hey, anyone can appreciate that. But you're reading ahead of her. She's about to say this. She's about to do that. So let me check
She's about to disrespect my mom.
You're only going to make things worse.
Yeah.
Let it, if you're already in the middle of the chaos and the crisis, let it play out. Prayer, patience. Prayer, patience. P. Time. It solves all of these issues. Because remember, we're talking about feelings, just feelings, emotions. These are not things, but they are real. And they would destroy your marriage if you don't listen to what we're saying. All right. So Christy says, I don't know. Okay, let me go to Christy first. That was the wife mistake, actually. She should have just watched the hubby reaction. I guess.
And again, I feel like the wife, we don't know how long the wife has been dealing with that. Remember, the mother never liked the wife.
If the wife didn't respect the husband, remember we're talking about respect which is earned. If the guy has been showing up exactly the way he showed up in this email, you can also respect that a wife may not be perfect. Maybe she's wrong. You're right. Maybe she's right. You're also right. It doesn't matter in relationships. Right and wrong are overrated in relationships. What matters is, are we happy right now? Do we feel happy right now? Because even happiness is all in the moment, right? And when you build enough of it, it becomes joy, right? Do we feel happy right now? That's what matters. How we got there is irrelevant. Never mind what religion tells you.
Do you think couples should do review of how they're doing?
Review of how they're doing?
That's like a job?
That's a good question.
Do we feel happy right now? Are we happy right now?
No.
Is there a way I can be a better
Remember that
wife?
person that just said self-reflection?
Right.
This is now what couples should do individually, okay? Are we happy right now? No. This is how you do that. This is a better way to do it. Okay. We're talking marriage now, not for boys and girls. We're talking for grown people, women, ladies, and men. Okay. The way you do reviews, what else can I do to make life easier for you?
Oh, that's awesome.
That's how you change shit up for the devil. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. You approach with all that. Let's just do a review and see how you're doing. It doesn't even work on the job. Even at the job,
it doesn't.
You go to your employees and say, how can I make your job easier? That's how you have good employees. That's leadership.
I hate reviews. Can I just say that? I hated all my reviews. I hated it. I would say the same answer all the time. It was just the same shit.
Yeah, and that doesn't help. And people are starting to learn that in Leadership 2020.
Right.
That just, ones and zero review doesn't work. You need to ask open-ended questions.
Yes.
Where people can tell you a little bit more. Don't say, Are you happy at your job? That's a yes or no. That's a stupid question. That's jump question.
You want me to say no so that you can fire me, or you want me to say yes so that I can, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, right. So if you think, we will come right back Instagram just in a second. That 1 hour. Thank God for YouTube and Facebook. If you feel like if you feel like somebody is right and wrong, you're right. But it doesn't
help the situation.
And the same thing goes for your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
If you like, a lot of people, they just spend so much energy on looking for what's wrong and what's right. How it was wrong, it was right. It was right too. No, it was wrong too. When he did this, he did that. How many people do you know that approach their marriages like that?
People keep records back.
They keep records, Jesus.
They remind you of the year, the time, the day. You're like, whoa, I did that.
Yeah.
I'm a bad human being. I'm terrible.
So listen, if you think you're right, I think Rockefeller said that. John D. Rockefeller, somebody said that. It's a big quote, even in business. If you think you're right, you're right. If you think you're wrong, you're right.
You're right.
Has nothing to do with relationship and achieving results that you want in your life, and especially in marriage, because it involves two people and you have to kind of manage
from different backgrounds. Can you imagine?
Like the first 20 years of your life.
The way I was raised was different.
Never mind the story you tell me. I will never know the first 20 years of your life.
No, facts.
Like literally, I will never know how 100% completely. Like people like to say that when they're saying, people evolve and they change and you never know people. No, forget that. What about the first 20 years of our life? I'm trusting her that she told me all the truth.
Okay.
Right? I'm trusting her. And that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
So this is some good stuff here that we're talking about. Okay, so let's reset
Instagram, right?
Instagram real quick. I didn't share. I just did it again. Oh, I can share still. Share too. All right. How do you do this? Oh, just the.
Let's go next, babe.
Just next.
Come on.
See, she's more technical than I am.
Cause I play with stuff sometimes. Hey.
All right, let's get back on. Oh, you're making funny come. Is that what I just heard?
That's what he just said. This is what happens when you listen to Naira Marley. It's good music.
How many Malians are in the house, by the way?
I like Naira Marley songs. I don't know. The melody.
So we got all kind of lights in the studio. So sorry about that. A little sweating here and there. You're good.
I'm good. I didn't wear makeup today. That sweating is real. I can't.
Welcome back. So yeah, let's continue to the next question here. Please, if you have any questions, post it. Let us know. We got some other questions we can discuss as well. Is setting boundaries. Whoever is toxic among them, keep them away. I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Whoever is toxic, you mean in the family? I mean, if somebody is going to come and disrespect your family, that's simple. That has nothing to do with the marriage, right? If from a physical standpoint, like some people have stories like, oh, the sister-in-law came and beat me up. And
what?
That's assault.
That happened in our mother's era. Like, really?
That's an assault, and don't handle that with respect to the marriage. Just you're beating people up. I'll be your life, me.
She might spend a day in jail for a day.
And don't hesitate to call the police.
Are you kidding me?
I know in Nigeria it's a little different, but I don't know about
you can't go around beating.
You may end up spending money.
Well, you can't go around beating people. That's crazy.
Yeah. And when it comes to if they're assaulting or they are destroying properties, as in like physical display of animations and stuff like that. No, that has nothing to do with the marriage. That's a person that needs to be checked instantly.
Yes,
because they can hurt people, right? They can destroy properties, and you got to keep these things separate. The problem is that people attach and just as all of us, we do that. We have multiple layers of different issues going on at the same time. That's why a woman wants to tell you the story of everything that's going on in her marriage, and she would this layer, this happened to, that happened to,
we
and
keep
as far
account.
back as 10 years ago.
We keep account in our brain. It stays there for a while,
and you can
until we let go and let go.
And guess what you can do with that, or can't? Guess what you can't do with that?
Heal.
You cannot be happy with that.
You can't heal.
That's destructive behavior.
Yeah,
that we all do, by the way.
It is.
But you obviously you want to check that. You don't want to be so if somebody is toxic, let's define what toxic means. By the way, we're already toxic. Toxic narcissist behavior, abuse mentally and what do you call it? Mentally and verbally. All of that is happening in any marriage that's going through crisis, right?
Yes.
So it is what it is, So there's no question that there's abuse, toxic going on. The issue now is that you should realize that that's a byproduct of other underlying issues going on in the marriage.
Yes.
And you have to do what they call the root cause analysis and deal with the cause and not the effect. So like I said, if it's physical in nature, you need to, of course, you need to push those people away with all the powers at your disposal. And never mind what Nigerians say about once you call the police, you can never be family. That's nonsense.
It's nonsense.
We can be family again if we get our shit together. Even after calling police on you, or even getting you jailed for.
There are people dying because they can't even speak or call the cops. You could have saved somebody's life. Because you want to say, it's not in our culture, so people should be dying left, right, and center. She said, but with wisdom. Wrong.
Exactly. Yes, always with wisdom, because wisdom requires time.
Yes.
And it's never a decision you make instantly in the middle of a reaction, right? All right. So the change starts with us and not following the past behavior. That's absolutely.
That's
there
true.
Are some mother-in-laws that want their daughter-in-law to experience the same pain with their in-laws.
Yes.
All right. So now let's break that down a little bit.
Yes.
Let's break that down a little
bit.
It's
baggages.
Okay. Is that when you said they want it, are you talking from an intentional standpoint, or their behavior will reflect that?
Their behavior, I think.
Because those are two different things. When you approach
it that's a weakness.
Yes, it's a weakness. It's not a wickedness. For the most part, these issues are not wickedness. And I learned that from TD Jakes. There's a difference between wickedness, act out of wickedness, and out of weakness. Right. Okay. Majority of the issues you would deal with in relationships and marriage are coming out of weakness. Okay. And yes, it will feel like wickedness.
Yes.
Okay. 100% feel like wickedness. But when you don't realize it's weakness, your approach to fixing that issue will be wrong. Now, speaking of right and wrong, it will work against you. Okay. If you feel like somebody's being wicked, that's an attack. And when someone feels attacked,
they will defend.
When someone feels like they're attacked, they will defend. Okay, so now you're going to defend, meaning you're going to react, and you already know what reaction. It's a whole chapter on it in the book.
Right.
You already know that reaction, actions out of reaction is never going to help you specifically in a marriage. Reaction on responding to stuff are completely two different things. Okay, you can respond. Responding takes wisdom, takes time, you've processed it, right? Reacting is like, it's a to an action. Like, you don't have to think. It was based on that action. That action felt like wickedness, because remember, you're human. So it's weak to you. You're feeling like somebody's being wicked to you, right? So you will react. That's why I say take your time, because if you take your time to process what just happened, you will find yourself saying, you're not giving them a pass, because they need to learn how to behave. But the way you will respond to it, now it's a response, right? The way you will respond to the situation will be, you would have thought it through and say, how do we move forward here to make sure I get what I want? Ultimately, not just in this moment. In this moment, yeah, to feel good to react. Yeah, if somebody attack you, slap you, so you slap them back, it felt good. It's a high, right?
Okay.
So, but in the long run, that's not the best thing for you, right? So that's the only clarification I will put there for you, Christy. Like, think about it. Is it from wickedness or weakness? Yes, she will do those behaviors. Okay, she will. And it starts with you. You're absolutely right. However, is it coming from wicked? If it's weakness, remember that she's not a part of the marriage. For the most part, you just want to say, yeah, all right. All right. Let me focus back in my marriage. Because when you do that, you're shutting, you're what do you call it in electricity, right? You're shutting off the circuit of the electricity right there. You shut the devil off right there by not giving attention to that negativity.
I think that's the problem, balancing that, not responding, giving attention to something that is already negative and toxic.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people miss it.
Yes. Yep. Oh, she was talking about families on both sides, she said.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone, treat every individual individually. Don't generalize the whole family. Another mistake that a lot of women make is that
like me, Ben. Like
how did that end up in this family?
Right.
They make him out like this.
They feel that way.
How did that end up in this family? Right? Oh my God, that family. Let me tell you something. Toxicity is every family. Every family is dysfunction
in different forms and ways. Just because you are used to that and you think it's okay, don't mean it's okay on the other side.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't do that in my family. Well, you're right. And not doing that is toxic for other people. Right?
It's true.
Oh, we don't talk about our problems. We don't talk about our problems. We go to sleep. That's not how I was raised. Well, you got a problem because now you're married to another person
that wants to talk it out. that wants to talk it out right now.
Right.
Well, I did.
Yeah, talking about the different topic. We don't want to get into that, but I get your point. Like you really have to relax.
Yeah.
Relax all the way. Whatever you learned before you got married,
unlearn it.
Learn all of that. Learn yourself, because all through that tells me that you didn't even know yourself. You don't, because how would you know? Now you're reacting how, and you didn't know that you could react that way. How many people do I know that even engaged? I'm not excusing physical violence, but they engaged in physical violence because they saw a reaction from their wife that they've never seen, and that triggered anger the wrong way. And before you know it, people are beating themselves up.
And they probably came from a family that physical violence is okay. So
no, not always.
And not always.
Not always.
Some
people, that's what it is. That's what they learn. They think it's okay. But some is just hunger and not hunger, but anger, right? Some is just anger and it happens and it doesn't make it right. Remember, it's not about right and wrong. People need to seek help if that ever happened, by the way.
Yes.
But you clearly did not know yourself. You did not know that you could get that hungry. No, because did you just talk at my mother? Men will beat up their wife if some men will do that.
Yes.
And very few men will say, "Oh, the devil is here. Let me excuse myself." Just think about that for a second. People engage in verbal abuse on each other, and then they wonder how it escalates to physical abuse. That's why some people say no abuse is okay, because it can escalate.
Yes. And can we just keep it real? There's some women there bashing their husband, beating the hell out of the husband as well. I mean, it depends on who you're married to.
Jesus.
If your wife happens to be a giant, she's bigger than you, she can smack you left, right, and center. She doesn't respect you.
Victor Nice 200 says, talking it out, not at that moment, but giving it time. Time cannot fail. Time doesn't fail. You're absolutely right. If you have to talk it out, remember when you're talking about the same issue second time, somebody's nagging now. Because you don't want solution, you just want to nag because it feels good. And talking about your misery can feel good. It's like a high, right? So you're just nagging. You don't want solution now. If you're talking about the same issue over and over again. So, but if it's the first time, like issue happened, right? It could be. By the way, we're humans. It could be second time, third time too. I'm just letting you know. Once you catch yourself a few times, you're talking about the same issues, like.
We're humans of habit. It takes a while.
It's a habit. Exactly.
So.
So, but definitely, if it's something that you feel like we should start with communication, like most issues, then you got to give it time. Give it time. And the problem with us is that when we're now given the time, we forget. Everything is now rosy and good again. And we don't want to mess up good moments with serious talk. And I understand that too, But if you feel like you're weighing your happiness, your joy in your marriage against, let me mess up this mood and talk about something serious, that's a decision you have to make, especially if you're a man, And yes, I'm harder on men, okay? Yep, you're used to it without knowing it's harmful to a new member. Yes, yes. A lot of stuff we're talking about is habits that has to be broken. They have to be broken. So now let's take this time. The last we already said we only do 2 hours, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, last 45 minutes. All right. We got some questions here that we should address. If you have any questions, continue to post them. Okay. Continue to post your questions. We'll address them as we catch them. All right. But we got some commonly asked questions with regards to in-law and marriage.
Wait, so for this guy that
Mhm.
asked us this question, we've agreed that he should give them time and
Oh
work
no
on
no no
himself.
no no no
You didn't really.
no. He doesn't need to give them time. They're not relevant. He need to work on himself.
Okay.
He's
Just let
not
them-
a man
Even
right now.
with that being said,
Mhm.
still continue to treat your mom like your mom. The things you do for your mom. Because I don't want anyone to think that cutting out a family member is
Right,
the
you
key.
mentioned that.
No,
that never fix anything.
No, it
because
doesn't.
it can feel like
Doesn't
it fixes
help.
it temporarily when you cut people off. Temporarily,
Yes.
it can feel good, like, oh, I cut toxic people out of my life. It can
Well,
feel
if
good.
they're not family.
Let me tell you
I get
something.
that.
You brought at least 50% of the dynamics of that relationship to that table. So it's like your shadow. Every time you try to escape, it's like
It's
there you
right
are
there.
again. Like it's because you're going to engage. There's no such thing as vacuum in nature and relationships, right? So something always fill that gap. So when you cut somebody off, you're going to engage in another relationship with another person. That energy is going to engage something
gonna
else,
come up
and you're
again.
going to bring your same 50% into it. And it just may be the toxic. At least it's 50% of the toxic. At least you didn't know how to handle toxic people. At the minimum, you didn't know how to handle toxic people. So cutting people off, unless they are physically threatening to your security and safety, it's not the solution. You can excuse yourself for yourself, so you can work on yourself. So this guy need to excuse himself. Yes, even from the mother. Mother needs to chill. No, mom, I'm not talking about my marriage. Are you kidding me? I'm not talking about marriage with you.
Yeah.
That's even anger.
Just keep being my mom.
Yeah, just be
you're
mom,
my mom.
and I'll come see you
Yes.
when everything settles. We'll sort things out,
Mm.
and things do need to settle.
It does.
Things do need to settle because people take that time to process things because they're not mad.
Mm-mm.
They're just angry,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though
It's temporary
insanity,
Yeah,
but it's
calm
temporary.
down.
They will come back if you relax. They will come back to their senses. They will process. You have to be generous with that patience, all right? And then things will come back, and then let people figure themselves out. So
It's okay.
your wife is not going to be comfortable with your mother not coming to your house suddenly anymore. That's a lot of headaches that's going to come
It
with that.
is.
So you better work on yourself to know how to handle all of the subsequent headaches that will come with everything that is
And the
dealing with.
fact that even the wife, she feels a little guilty about that.
Yes,
No one wants
Yes.
that for their in-law.
yes,
You
yes.
don't want
Guilt is going to be a real
It's
thing that she's
real.
going to be dealing with,
It's real.
and that means he's going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because she's not going to say I'm dealing with guilt. It's not going to be like
No,
that.
she's not gonna say that.
She doesn't show up all kind of behaviors that you're going to be like, oh my life, my life.
So he needs to really, really be the stand-up guy
Alright.
here.
So, what do you do when your in-laws affect your marriage? What's your this is a generic, but it's a commonly asked questions. What do
How?
you do when your in-laws affect your marriage? I guess the question is how.
Mm-hmm.
Just affect your marriage. You just give an example. Let's just use this how.
Yeah, the same example I gave. Like, what do you mean affect your marriage? It's how you're reacting to that. Again,
It's how you're reacting to
it's
that.
the attention you're giving to them.
Right.
Definitely.
I mean, you used the phrase earlier.
Mhm.
Environmental factors.
They are environmental
What do you mean they're
factors.
affecting your marriage? What makes you think there's a day that's coming that they won't affect your marriage?
Right.
Are they affecting your marriage positively or negatively? That's completely up to you. Completely, how they affect your marriage is completely up to you. But the idea that they're not going to affect your marriage in this world that we still live in, people love their family, their extended family.
They do.
All right. So if you're just going to cut off, that may not give you the result you need. It may make you feel good in the moment, I guess. But that's like anything else that's toxic. It feels like alcohol. It feels good in the moment, right? But when you start feeling bloated and you have hangover in the morning, you're like, oh Lord. Or 20 years later, you have to deal with liver issues. It will show up eventually. It will show up and it will be very destructive. And for the most part, you're not going to know what is causing your issues, sadly. So I would say affect your marriage. That's a given. Okay,
It will come.
that's gonna happen. But you get to choose how it affects your marriage. Is it negative? Is it positive? Temporary negative situations will happen. How you react to it is everything.
It is. I mean, I know me for one, I wouldn't want a man that would cut off his own family.
Right.
Because I wouldn't want to cut off my own family.
Mm-hmm.
So, I take them with their baggages, and I expect my spouse to understand that, and I work on it the way they are.
I don't know if that sounds horrible to some people. Yes, you have to take your wife with all the garbages and
all the
baggage that
baggage.
comes with it.
This is what it is.
You made that choice. You had, and at least you have a little bit of time to court and know the kind of family you're dealing with. But remember, dealing with them starts with, do you know how to deal with yourself? And I know it sounds like a broken record, but it is what it is. If you learn how to deal with yourself in the midst of crisis, in the midst of chaos, right? Then toxic in-law it's not a factor.
I think that's where the Bible really speaks to loving your neighbor as much as you love yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
The patience that you will give yourself, you wouldn't cut off your own arm if it's aching you right now.
Yes.
You will love it.
Yes.
You will try to fix it. That's the same way I feel about families.
That's an awesome analogy.
If your family is giving you a problem, you wouldn't just want to cut them off, but you will look for solution-oriented ways
to handle the issue.
I just think that's the way I say it.
Victor 9 says, but I don't feel it's right to allow our parents to come into our marriage, because the Bible never said you want to marry your mother. Good point. But the way you allow your parents to come to your family is not by deliberately, you can come now.
Yes.
Right? That's not how we usually do it. Some people do it by not learning how emotions work in a marriage dynamics or relationship period, right? And some people do it when they're already in crisis and they go report to their
That's the issue, being
parents,
needy,
right?
This is what my husband is doing.
Needy.
This is my wife doing.
So
She's evil
some people
right
do
now.
it by being needy. There is a needy behavior, and they be camouflage it in all type of different. The fact that you even call your mother, your father, or your in-laws, that's needy behavior, and the kids trust you that you guys are going to be happy by yourself, especially when they're not emotionally intelligent to know that they should stay out. Most people are not. Okay.
Only a few wise ones know that.
For me, if my kids come to me, even if I'm a certified counselor, right? If my kids come to me and they're dealing with marriage issues, I'm gonna say, hey, pay for a certified counselor and let me know what they say. You guys go through that, and feel free. I'm all ears, but I'm not going to have an opinion about their marriage, because that's my son, and by default, I will be biased.
Yes,
even the fact that I said I don't want to be biased is biased. Okay, this is emotions is deeper than anything on the surface.
To be biased for real.
Let's see. Okay, so let's go here. We still got some more questions. Face your home. Take care of the mom. Talk over the phone if physical encounter will aggravate. Absolutely.
Fact.
Absolutely.
That is true.
Why go to where his wife and children are not being celebrated? Good question. That one is deep, but
very deep.
That one is deep because that happens. Some people say, "I don't want to take my children. My children will not be celebrated." Okay, this is a deep one. Let's address this one.
It's deep because deep because there are actually people that are going through this.
Of course,
like not being able to take your kids to your parents' house. That's a real issue, right?
Yeah.
That's really, really. I feel like a few people.
Let's go back to Christy's favorite word: wisdom. Much wisdom is required when you're dealing with in-laws and stuff, right? So now you can't take your children. Okay, now we got to go back to first of all yourself. Okay. If you have trouble taking your children to where they are not being celebrated, first of all, that is you. That's not your children. Your children don't feel that way. You're feeling that way. For the most part. I don't like doing absolutes. Maybe not 100% of the time. Some people are evil out there. Maybe they want to, you've caught them, try to hurt your kids.
Maybe they're just
that's not what I'm saying.
Some people are just psychos,
What I'm saying essentially, make sure this is not just how you feel. Your children going to go see their grandparents or their cousins, maybe they don't feel what you feel. You're the only one
Children
feeling
are
it.
innocent. They usually don't feel that way.
Almost 100% of the time, the children don't know what the hell is going on unless you plant that seed in them, of course. Because as they grow up, remember, they learn
It's
from
like
behavior.
racism.
They're listening. Even if you don't speak the same language, they are listening. Because you say certain words over and over in front of them for years upon years, they pick it up. They know, because our language is more than just words, right?
Yes.
All right. So you want to make sure that this is not just you feeling that way. If it's just you feeling that way, the problem is the relationship. The last thing you want to do is drag the children through it. Because again, the relationships that the kids have with extended family also becomes a part of what molds how they behave from a social standpoint. Okay? If you cut them out, especially they already know this extended family, you're teaching them cutting people out. And you already know how we feel about cutting people out. It doesn't help. What you're doing is you're propagating your problem forward and you're blaming other human beings for your problems. Am I making sense?
You're making sense. You're making sense, babe. But I wanted to add one thing to it.
Sure.
Except if you feel like your kid is going through some physical abuse over there, or mental or emotional.
Yes.
Because I did see a video one time, some time ago, where this little kid was dancing to, I don't know the song, maybe it was Rihanna or some kind of dance, some kind of, female artist, and he was popping his booty, and the auntie just smacked him on, and he was doing a live show.
If you have such situation,
don't take your kids. I don't care what it is.
Yeah,
don't put your kids in harm's way.
If you have, that's now becoming, you're putting the kids in harm's way. If you feel like they are in harm's way, but you just want to make sure you're clear that you're not harming the kids when you remove them from the extended family's lives. You just want to make sure of that. That's something, again, I will talk to. If that's a real issue for you, I will talk to a certified counselor about that.
Yes.
I will not just leave on and just say, no, we cut people. I will not do that, because it will affect your kids in the long run. So that's when she said, why go to where your wife and children will not be celebrated? No. Now you're talking about the husband. He has to go.
Okay, so this is what I'm getting from that question.
Right.
If you're taking your wife and your kids to somewhere, they're being disrespected.
Right.
Like my babies now, and I take my husband and we go to my family house, and my mom is there popping off the mouth and saying, yeah, well, your wife is giniko, or your kids are blah blah blah. No, I will not take my kids and my wife there. I won't. Yeah. Because when you do that to my family, you're doing that to me.
Right.
And I don't know how you can't see that.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's not. There's no one size fits all. Right. I'm looking at that question a different way, and I think, why go to now the husband? It's not even the wife and children now. Why should a husband
by himself
go to where his wife and children are not being celebrated? That means you're discounting that first 20 years of his life that I was talking about.
No, I wouldn't say
that's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple, And in fact, I encourage him to, if he has to go by himself for now, when there were issues, I encourage him to still do that.
Right.
Don't pin, because I'm moving.
I'm not pinning, baby.
Yeah. All right. So I would say definitely because remember, especially this man, as a man, he needs to make sure he continue the behaviors that a man would do, and not abrupt behaviors like, I'm definitely not cutting people. A man should not be doing behaviors like that. It's ridiculous. And even if you do it and it makes your wife feel good in the moment, she will disrespect you eventually, because you probably do that to her too. There are times that you get sensitive and you cut her off.
Yeah.
That's,
or you ask her to cut off our own family because our family is acting out, and she doesn't feel that way.
And she doesn't want to cut her family off. So that's probably a behavior, like most human beings' behavior propagate beyond just one human being, propagate beyond just one relationship. So if you would do it here, you would do it on the other side, you would do it on the other side. It's just you need something to trigger it on that end too, right? So no, I wouldn't say no. Cutting people out now, him saying the children and wife should stay home for now could be a sense of let peace reign first.
Yes.
Let time pass first.
Yes.
Then that's absolutely understandable, right?
Yes.
So Victor Knight says, but when the kids are younger, they are always cool with their cousins. Exactly. But you're able to see that, Victor, because you're not going through the hunger that a wife or husband may be going through when they say, don't take my kids. See, anger, right? Anger will make people do things that not relevant to right or wrong, right? But you may see as wrong, right? Yeah. And you're absolutely right. And that's why I say, be careful. First of all, check yourself. Make sure you are mentally stable. When we're mentally unstable because of a marriage and relationship, we can't tell if you're the one in the middle of it.
That's true.
Okay? You need someone on the outside to tell you that. You can't smell your own, you know. Like this.
You can kind of smell your own.
The eyes need to come down to be able to see the nose. All right. So why do they always have problem with each other when they have grown? I have seen this problem a lot. Yeah, it causes issues. They hold on to the resentment with their cousins that their parents had long time ago. Yeah. They forgot about it. They already went past it.
I'm a good example of that. I have some cousins I don't talk to.
That you don't talk to.
Because of issues between our parents and their parents. I'm like, you know what? Leave me out of this mess.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this.
And you just never know if that's a relationship you're missing out on.
Exactly.
You will never know.
Exactly.
Exactly. You never know. So let's move on to the next questions. And
it's not fair.
Here.
It's not fair to the kids.
Yeah. Just thinking through. I'm not deciding for anyone. You know, every situation is unique. So it depends on situation by situation. All right. RNG Baba just dropped in earlier. I saw him.
Oh, he did.
Alpha Bros. All right. So in-laws matters. Okay. So where are my banners? Okay, there you go. The next question here is, can in-laws cause divorce?
Yeah, if you're not solid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I guess maybe the more accurate, because again, this question is framed from a person that's going through it. So they feel like it's the in-law that's causing it. Okay. But the more appropriate question, if somebody has been enlightened, is, can in-law issues cause? Because the in-laws themselves, they don't have that kind of power over you unless you engage it with not knowing how to handle them. You know, the topic of this is how to deal with disrespectful in-laws in your marriage. Disrespectful in-laws are going to happen, especially if you're asking that question. Okay. How to deal with them is you deal with yourself. Learn how to handle people without handling them.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Without handling them. Learn how to handle people. That's how you deal with that. So can in-laws cause divorce? Yes, indirectly. Or I guess you can call it directly. If you don't learn this stuff, yes. In-law issues will absolutely build up, and then it will match with other things eventually. And then you have destruction. Basically, your home is.
Like, let's go our separate ways.
Africa.
I don't like my mom.
Yeah.
I don't like your dad.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell?
Like,
this is who gave birth to me. Okay,
no, it doesn't have to be both sides. It could be just one-sided.
It could be one-sided. That's
you don't like my mom. I don't think I can handle that. I don't know how long I can handle that. You don't like my mom. You're not appreciating of my mom. You know, or vice versa.
People even get
I actually don't like your mom.
Oh, you didn't call my mom. That one, you feel provoked the whole relationship. Like, that's common.
Yeah.
You don't call my mom.
You don't call my mom. It's a symptom. It's a symptom. There are other issues that needs to be addressed. You don't go attack someone. You don't call my mom. You don't call my mom. If that's how you're gonna attack it, maybe you start with, "Oh, mommy asked about you yesterday. Oh, she did.
Oh, let me check up on her.
I'll try to call her tomorrow." That would be in a good situation.
Yes.
You don't call my mom. That means you guys are in the middle of crisis already. Now, how do you think she's going to receive that? That's an attack.
No, she's like, do you call my mom? And it's the battle of the moms.
Right, okay? Right. Do you call my mom? How many times do you call my mom? Nigga.
It's real. It's real out there. It's real. Right. Yes, in-law issues, real. Man, is real.
It's real. You know, I mean, there are so many layers to it that, you know, we'll probably never finish in a day. But yes, in-law issues can result in divorce. Maybe not for you. There's somebody I could hear somebody right now saying, "Oh, it's not that serious."
Of course. Maybe they figured a way out of it.
I can hear somebody saying right now. By the way, give it thumbs up, please. Facebook, make sure you're giving it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, I can someone say, no, it's not that serious. Well, maybe not for you. Remember, you don't know the first 20 years of that spouse's life.
Yeah.
And you will never completely 100% know them. You're getting to know them for the rest of your life. So if you get with that fact straight, you will have a happier marriage. You will have a better marriage because you're open to learning more about your spouse as you go by the day.
Open.
She will never, doesn't matter how she tells the story. It's storytelling. No matter how good she is at storytelling, you will never know the first 20 years of her life. So you don't know how much she can take certain things. You don't know how much she can handle. You don't know how she can handle. She may be quiet about certain issues. She may not want to share with you or what she's going through emotionally. She may not want to share that with you.
Yeah.
And she may have been suffering inside for 5, 6, 7, 8, 15 years. And you just never know when she's going to have enough.
Baggages are real, man.
Yeah.
Baggages are real. People come from their own family with baggages into their marriage, and that can destroy.
So if you feel like, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law cannot cause me to leave my husband, good for you. You don't know if your husband will leave you. So you better know how to make sure that
there's this proverb in Yoruba. I'm gonna say in Yoruba. Yes. It says that Ọmọ tó bá sọ lẹ́nu, àpò ìyà ló fi kọ́rùn. I feel like it's manipulative in a way.
To what?
Like if you cut off your family and say, oh, I'm just going to my husband's house, I'm married my wife, I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Oh, okay.
When the crisis starts,
you will need your family.
You're in deep shit. Basically, that's what means. That Yoruba.
So repeat it. You just said what it means. If you discard your family because of your marriage,
yes,
or vice versa, honestly,
right?
You discard your wife because of your family. What is it? What happens?
Like when the real crisis starts, you won't be alone. Basically, that's what I got.
Yeah, it's gonna cause trouble later on.
Yes,
it's like where she's basically taking home that cutting people off is not the solution.
It's not the solution.
All right, because you're social being,
habit.
You have a family before you started a family.
Yes,
you have to acknowledge that with respect, with patience, with wisdom, right? And then start looking at things from a standpoint, is that wickedness or weakness? Okay. Don't be quick to go towards the wickedness standpoint unless there's something physical involved. See that that's a weakness. And when you see that as a weakness, you will calm down and you probably will come up with a better solution than seeing it as wickedness. When you see it as wickedness, that will feel like an attack on you. And you naturally will want to defend. Yes. And when you defend, that's just another attack on another person. So when they feel attacked again, they will defend back and you have a war. Does that make sense? All right, so let's go on to the next question here. Can a marriage work if you hate your in-laws?
Hate is such a strong word.
Hey, some people feel that way. Hate and love are essentially the same thing, just polar opposites. That's all. You feel that kind of emotion, anger towards your in-laws? You got problems. The in-laws don't have problems.
Yes, serious problems that you have to work on.
Okay.
Yes.
You have the toxic version of love. If you're indifferent, you just don't care, then I won't take it like it's not like it's okay. They're in their own house.
It's not hate.
They have their own life to live. You don't have to love them, right? But when you use the word hate, you got a problem. And they don't have a problem. And guess what you have to do with that problem that you have? You have to solve it, starting with you. Okay? Starts with you. Why do you hate your in-laws? Oh, they offended you. Oh, that will warrant hating them.
It's only your loved ones that can offend you, honestly.
People are not going to come out the streets to offend you.
And if they offend you outside, by the time you give them one finger, you're okay, you're over that. Because you don't know them.
You don't know them.
But the people that are around you are the ones that can really piss you off when you think about it. Yeah. And that's why we all have to learn how to forgive, how to be patient with one another. Yeah. Don't take this thing too seriously. Stop the assumptions. All those things are destructive behavior. Oh, that's my big bros.
Yes, sir. He said, in-laws would cause divorce if only you let them. So much wisdom in that. So much wisdom in that.
Fact.
Yeah. In-laws will cause problems only if you let them. That is facts. All right. So we're going to try to bring someone on. And I'm not sure if they wanted to, if that was a mistake or whatnot, but we're bringing on Dami. Does that mean Dami? Is that a fancy way to say Dami?
Yeah, Dami 26.
26? Okay. All right, so let's see if that person is
waiting
joining.
to connect.
It's waiting to connect.
So Tunde said, Lola, easy with this Yoruba proverb. I can't help but remember. I mean, some of these proverbs are very, very. I don't know. I feel like they can be manipulated.
Right.
They are created to put certain people in their places, like women and children.
Christy said she would deal with you. I'm not sure. I think we probably missed what we were talking about at that time. Hate is absolutely a strong word.
It is a strong word.
But it's real. It's a real feeling.
How can you love someone then hate where they're from?
Yeah,
I feel like there's something missing there.
Yeah, it's definitely, hate is definitely a real thing. Let me try to bring her up again. Let me try that again.
It could be a mistake.
Or maybe before. Maybe she requested long before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so hate. That's Damola that you know?
No, I don't. I saw her name, Damola. So it makes sense. Okay. She said Dami.
Dami, okay.
Yeah, Dami 26.
Yeah, hate is a strong word. Or maybe we should say it's a strong feeling, but that feeling is real and it needs to be sorted out. So just discounting it or discarding it or saying no, you can't hate them now. You know, people advise like that. Hate to one now. She hates them, and it needs to be sorted out.
Yes, this person just expressed it that they hate their in-laws. I can help this person.
Yeah, if you're gonna help, at least you should listen to what they're saying and take their
why do you hate them?
Real.
Yeah, what's the reason?
What happened?
Yeah,
why do you hate them? What happened? And but honestly, if you're a family member or anything like that, it's better that you have them. If they use that word, it's better you recommend that they seek certified counselor, because then they'll be able to these issues, you can't wing these issues. You have to deal with them.
They're real issues.
Yeah,
man.
You have to know what you're doing with these issues. And it doesn't matter if it's husband or wife who comes up, who steps it up first and say, I want to fix my marriage.
Absolutely.
Anyone can fix the marriage. I prefer personally that is the husband, because it just feels better. It feels better, and then they will retain the respect that goes towards a man in a household, in a typical household. I'm not talking about the millennia extra craziness that will be going on. I'm talking about in a typical situation.
The brand new ways of marriage.
So let's see here. Never hate, even if they are horrible. You might dislike, not hate. Good point. Here's the problem. Fumi has a today.
Wait, is this Fumi?
Fumi.
Fumi.
I don't remember.
Oh yes.
All right. So here's the problem. Hate is a feeling. You don't really necessarily get to control it directly like that. You have to go. It's a feeling, and feelings are basically symptoms. They are things that happen because there are underlying issues.
Right.
So it's like I'm in the wrong mood. I'm not in the good mood. I'm going to change my mood. It doesn't work like that, right? It doesn't work like that. There's something that put me in that mood. I need to address what that is.
You need to address it and then work on it,
or else I'll be deceiving myself.
Yeah, I feel like when you say you hate, when you hate people, you're not giving them a chance, because sometimes people can be very stupid and annoying, and they could be the worst thing ever. But people also evolve. People also change.
Yeah.
So
in fact, I believe that a person that used the word hate is better off, because a lot of people actually hate. But because their religion or their church says don't use the word hate, they will hide that feeling. They won't use the word, but that's actually how they feel. And that's actually worse, because they are bottling up resentments. And when that blows up, it's going to be worse than using the word hate. Because then if you have hate, we can address it.
That's a strong
things are terrible. It's better than
what's going on.
It's better than when somebody is not using that word, but they actually are. They hate.
Inside is terrible.
So then Christy says dislike their attitude. Yeah, those are all common signs that don't work in marriages and relationships. Not just marriages, even relationship with your siblings. These things, all this gimmicky, sneaky way of using words are overrated. Issues are deeper than the words. Words can help, okay? But if you are using words to camouflage the feelings that you're going through, it's only a matter of time. It will come back up. Okay, it will come back up. Let's see. Maybe she plugged out and she tried to come back in again.
Why? She tried to call again?
Wait.
Go on.
All right, so Damilola Bukola, we're trying to pull you on.
But it's not connecting.
But it's not connecting. So I would just disconnect and then try to come back on. Let's see. So Victor 9 says, the person really have a problem because your in-laws will always be a part of your life. I agree with that.
Fact.
There is a problem with that, a real problem that needs to be addressed.
Yes.
You know, does it really matter who? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we're talking about the same thing, it doesn't really matter. Okay. All right, so let's continue here.
So there's a Victor Nice 200 sent a request.
Oh, is that Victor? It's the same issue, but okay. Yeah, I think he just sent. Let's try to bring Victor on. All right, so let's continue here. You need to accept them and respond individually. Yeah, generalizing doesn't help. Absolutely, I agree with that. So if there's like a family member or issue like that, you need to separate all of that issues into individual by individual.
Yes.
Family meetings don't work. Oh, can I say that?
That is terrible.
Okay.
That's putting people on
family
the spot.
Meetings are horrible. They destroy marriages. They make things worse. Okay. People will try to do that. They say, let's call a family meeting.
Judgment zone.
Through that.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
they're about to judge you hard.
not to call your family-in-law the devil, but you're inviting the devil into your life.
Geez.
That's what you're doing.
No.
That's
you better get judged.
All right. Okay. Unable to join. Okay, so we're getting a lot of unable to join. I don't know why. Instagram sucks. But we're trying to bring Victor Nice on, right? Let's see. Okay, yeah. So I agree. So family meetings don't work. Don't do that.
They don't.
What will happen is you will essentially invite the devil, and there's too much energy trying to solve that issue.
What's going on?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, I'm just trying to connect the camera. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry about it. I'll connect it now.
Okay. Yeah, try it. Yeah. All right. So the struggle. Let's try to bring Dami on again. Dami is still saying it's not letting us pull you on. All right, so let's continue here. Delina says, in-laws would cause divorce if only you let them. I concur with the hobby. Hi, Yinka.
Oh, that's
she got a different name on YouTube.
Oh my goodness. All these beautiful names. Delina.
I know, right?
All right.
The moment you start hating, it begins to control you. Yes, now we're talking.
Fact.
So we agree that hate is real, but it's controlling the person that's hating. Okay? It controls your life. It makes you vulnerable to what you guys like to call the devil.
The devil.
Okay? You're basically allowing the devil in. The idea of, because it's a weakness, It
is a weakness.
The ability to hate at that level is a weakness on your part, So I don't know about this 2-hour thing though, because I think this conversation is just starting to kick in.
Wait, people are catching the fire. Wait, what happened? Dami is not connecting. Can you connect Victor?
Yeah, let's try Victor again.
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be us. It could be because we need to start again. We'll start again at the top of the hour. Even though we plan to stop at 2 hours today.
Okay, Victor is connecting.
Victor, just go ahead and talk. Your camera is not connecting. Just go ahead and contribute.
We can't see you, bro.
It's just connecting still. Okay. Yeah. So let's end Instagram. All right. And then let's come right back on. It may just be us.
This music is not gonna let them flag our video.
No one is short few minutes. Plus they allow me to replace it later.
Okay. I like the Malian, but hey. Is it the car flag? Marriage issues. Hey.
So again, who are the Malians in the household? Identify yourself.
Don't be shy.
Who are the Malians in the house? Identify yourself. All right. We're back on.
Yes,
all right. So
yes,
it begins
yes.
to control you, and response will be damaging. Absolutely. If it is getting to that point, stay away ASAP. I agree with staying away. In addition to that, you have to work on
Yes.
yourself, because that problem is more yours. And
Than
everything
them.
else outside of being yours is just people being people, right? People would tell you to be patient, but when it's that time to be impatient with toxic in-laws.
When is it that time?
When is it that
She's
time
asking.
to be? Oh, so it's a question. Okay, so it's a question there. Okay,
So now, we're telling people to be patient.
right. When is that time to be impatient with toxic in-laws?
Never.
All right. So it sounds like you joined late, which is fine. The time to be impatient with toxic in-laws is never, because they're really not a factor in you. Okay, we mentioned earlier physical. If somebody has like physical misconduct, an assault was involved, or they're destroying properties, that has nothing to do with your marriage. That's on them. You need to call the police. It's as simple as that. Don't link that up with your marriage. When you're talking about marriage and you're trying to sort through issues, don't link it up, because it only make the issues more complex than it needs to be, so you can sort through your marriage issues and get past that.
Right.
If you start involving, your sister came here the other day, and listen, that was your fault. You should have called the police, or drag them out. If you're talking about a third world country where it's not necessarily feasible to call police,
Right.
use the power at your disposal to drag them out, because they are, again, physically destructive, either by way of assault or destroying properties. That's how you handle that. When it comes to emotional issues or just verbal or anything like the verbal too, you can ask them to excuse themselves if they're going to be insulting. That's okay.
Yes.
But if it's just one say, them say,
those ones are no. Those
they're
are
not
the
a factor.
worst. Yeah.
They're not a factor. Even if you heard that they said something that even especially that. If you heard something that you heard, keep that to yourself. Let people talk. Let them do their talking. They have opinions. They will have opinions. That's just the way it is. Okay, and it's not just the in-laws that have opinion. Everyone have opinions about you. That's just the way these things work. All right. So that's that. Read this one, babe.
I've been there, Adelina. Please be impatient immediately so as to deal with it.
So I'm not sure what that means. What's impatient? Is that a word?
Well, maybe she's saying that use your words. Like, sometimes we confuse. Okay. Yes.
Victor, nice. We can hear you, but I can't see your camera.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to make sure that my camera is on, but I don't know what's wrong.
Don't worry. Just go ahead and give us your submission, brother.
I'm really enjoying what you guys are doing, honestly. I don't know why people don't like enjoying a good program. Honestly, I'm enjoying whatever you guys are saying, and it makes a whole lot of sense.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
God bless you guys for the work you guys are doing over there and stuff like that. But the truth about this matter is this. I believe when people understand their in-laws, it helps a lot. That's one of the most important things, because I've discovered that a lot of people.
He got disconnected. I think it's probably too much traffic on Instagram. Probably.
Maybe Saturday is not a good day.
What I'll say is this. Let me do this. If you're hearing us and you definitely want to contribute, I'm definitely going to drop this into the comment area right now. Okay. So I'm actually going to try to drop it into. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Can you drop that in the Instagram?
All right. So I'm dropping the link into the chat area if you want to.
On YouTube,
in YouTube and Facebook. I just dropped it on YouTube and Facebook. Let me see if that was copied into my. Oh no, it's not copied here. It's going to be hard. So just go ahead and you can find Lola and Ola on YouTube and Facebook if you want to join us over there. There's a link that I already dropped in the chat, and you can join us from there. It's going to be easier.
to call in,
to bring you on. Plus, everyone else can see you as well.
Instagram is acting up.
All right. So please be impatient immediately so as to deal with it. Now, just stay impatient. You know, patience is the first step of dealing with your in-laws. And I agree with what he said. You need to understand your in-laws.
Yes.
It's not about right and wrong. You need to understand the in-laws. Okay? That's the first step. Okay? So, and then there's subsequent steps beyond that, because you need to understand I said you understand yourself first, right? Work on yourself. But when you work on yourself, allow you to understand your in-laws from a standpoint of what is it that's making them behave this way? What is the weakness? Where's the weakness coming from? It's very because this is so common that it's most likely not wickedness. Okay. Delina, the longer it takes to respond, the harder and the damage they would have done. Yeah, it depends on what we're talking about. Maybe you want to continue real quick? I need to use the bathroom.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's some other questions there. Play around. I'll be back.
Oh my God. I'm on my own.
Oh, yo.
Real life. Adelina, the longer it takes to respond, the harder and the damage they would have done. I think what Christy is saying over here is that use your words. So some of us, and I'm a good example of that. When I got married in 2007, there were some things that I didn't like. And instead of me saying, babe, I don't like this, let's not do this, or this is making me feel some type of way, I didn't say that. I kept it to myself and I bottled it in, and then it became resentment. So the things that you don't like, something that you know really, really rubs you the wrong way, say it in that moment. It doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful. Use your words nicely and say, no, I don't appreciate that. We need to fix that. And I think that's what Christy is trying to say over there. So if you have any disrespectful in-laws disrespecting you, just be nice and just express your feelings. And Delina says, so true. And which one do I have here? Okay, I have another one. Be patient with me, guys. Oh, our question is, when is it time to be impatient with toxic in-laws? And I still think that the same answer applies to that. Toxic in-laws, the only way you can block them out, again, is going to take infinite patience. If you don't like something, just say, I don't like what you're doing. With all due respect, you're like my mother. Please, ma. Ejo, ma binu. Forgive me. Let that go, please. I don't appreciate that. Or let your spouse handle that. Most times, if I have a problem with my mom-in-law, I don't go and say, mommy, what you're doing, I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. I tell my spouse, and my spouse kind of find a way to use wisdom to talk to her. But what I'm also doing in that moment is not building a relationship with her. So I necessarily didn't handle it the right way. So I'm going to say Christy has a good point. When you don't like something, have a relationship with your in-law. There's nothing wrong with me saying, mommy, I don't like what you just said, do. Because my husband's mommy is my second mommy. If that was my mother, I would tell her and say, mommy, I don't appreciate what you just did. So why can't I do that with my mom-in-law? I think the problem here is us, the assumptions, and also not nurturing our relationship. We feel like somebody's out there to get us, especially with women. Sometimes we kind of, whatever our mothers went through, we bring it into our own marriage and assume that we're going to go through that. And that's wrong. We need to unlearn that and start, giving people a chance. That's what I truly feel. That's the way you can be. I mean, did I answer your question with the toxic in-laws? I'm not so sure, but oh, thank you, Christy. I answered that question.
Okay, I'm back.
Thank God. Oh yeah, come back, because this guy is the talker, not me. Okay, just put me on the spot right there. Wow.
Because you moved it earlier, right?
Babe, I didn't move it.
Oh, okay.
Right. Now you're kneeling now.
Yeah.
What happened? Your back is aching?
Yeah, just a little uncomfortable.
Oh, really?
So what did I miss?
Oh, so the question with the toxic in-law,
Okay.
She's saying, yeah, so I had to answer it in my own little way.
Oh, so that was a question?
So what she's saying is,
what's
our
question to be impatient? Impatient means address it?
I think what Delina is trying to say is that now, assuming Momsy did something, like your mom, for example, did something, and I didn't like it, I should be able to say, Mommy, nicely.
Right.
I don't like what you just did, or Mommy, let's do it this way.
Right.
But you know me. I'm not gonna say that.
You're not gonna talk.
I'm gonna keep that shit
inside.
Gonna hold
it in.
And then you probably gonna get it.
Yeah.
And then so Christy said it's better for you to be impatient now, like actually use your words.
Yep.
That's what I got from that.
Yes.
And then I explained that, and she said that's exactly what it is.
Yes. So the only thing I will add to that is to make sure that if you don't have a relationship with your in-law and they've just offended you.
Thank you, Victor.
You
said I answered the question so good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just add that, it also depends on the dynamic of relationship you had with your mother-in-law before.
So that's what I'm saying. Like people, we women, we tend to come into our marriage. Now I'm not speaking for everyone.
And
I'm going to speak
too much.
I from my own experience. Okay, so my mother's baggages, I actually inherited them, and I didn't give my mother-in-law a chance. So I'm looking at her like, this is what mother-in-laws do. You're not going to do that with me.
Exactly.
And what am I doing? I'm not nurturing that relationship.
You already had a pre.
I have assumptions
about based on your mother's experience, all the experiences you've heard about before. You pre-assumed a lot of stuff, and so anytime you hear or you feel some kind of hiccup, you're very quick to react like, that's that monster in-law thing.
Yes. And that's not fair because I'm actually not giving her a chance.
Right.
So it's important to actually build the relationship.
I can even reframe that as you're not giving yourself a chance.
Oh yeah. Of course.
It's still getting to know these people. There are going to be things that will throw you off naturally. And you should just relax and see how time will play things out. Right. And if you have to use your words, okay to tell your husband, I feel like, it's okay with your husband. And hopefully your husband is man enough to handle that.
I think that's another problem right there. That's a real problem there. Because now if you have a husband and say, how dare you talk to my mom like that? Right. How dare you? Why would we even complain about? Maybe you didn't even disrespect mom. Boys like you're too vocal. You're not supposed to say anything.
Yeah.
No.
Like if my wife said something about my mother, my first reaction is none. Something is going on that I need to understand, and
you need to leave us to build our own relationship. As long as I'm not being disrespectful, we're not hurting each other, you should be out of our business. And a lot of men don't know how to do that.
You're right, Christy. She said, actually, some mothers won't mind, while some will cause fire with innocent approach. So you want to
know who you're dealing with.
You want to be emotionally strong enough to handle a conversation like that. If you're going to bring something up to her, just like you would with your husband, you have to lead with love. But leading with love, your definition can mean something else somewhere else too. So you want to make sure that you are speaking her language. You have to have gotten to know that person well, to know what love means to them. Because some people, they will read your love as condescending. And that's not going to.
Or they'll say, "Why are you being nice to me?" That confuses me when I'm like, "Wait, what? You don't like nice people?" Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some people are just toxic.
Let me address this last one more comment before I go back to the questions. Toxic is not only father, mother-in-law. No, it's not. It could be anything. Mine was cousin. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Imagine, that's why I say you should treat all of this relationship the same way. The only difference between your wife and these other people is you're having sex with your wife or you're having sex with your husband. That's the only difference. It's the same thing all across board, really. You want to lead with love. When I say love, with respect to that person's language. That's why they have something called love language, right? So you just want to make sure you are strong enough to be able to read between all of those lines. There's so many layers, But one thing I have drawn from this was that at that point, we were just new to each other. Exactly. Right? We prejudge. We all do that.
Yes, we all do.
It's a human thing. The same way it's a human thing, religion. You are Borisha. It's a human thing, right? We prejudgment, judging other people based on the skin color, judging them based on where they came from, judging them based on what tribe they came from. We all do that. But you're better off when you're just aware that it's just a human characteristics, it's a weakness, and you should address issues accordingly, right? So it's working on ourselves first. Yes, absolutely. You getting it. You get it. Some people, the moment you hold them in a high esteem, they see it as a loophole and start causing manipulation in the room. Let me help with that. Okay. Manipulation can get to a toxic level, but we all manipulate. Okay. We all want something, and I will say certain things to you to make you receive it in a certain way, right? So just keep that in mind. But you're right.
Excuse me.
Some people, okay, no problem. Some people will manipulate. Okay. All right. So let's address the other not last question. What do you do when your in-laws affect your marriage? So I think we've said this quite a few different ways. What do you do when your in-laws affect your marriage? Before I address that, let me just address this question, which means marriage takes 4 to 5 years to understand each other. Now, it takes a lifetime. It takes a lifetime. One day at a time, be open, one day at a time. Because the reason why I don't like to put a mark on it, yes, there's studies that show that, the in-love experience kind of expires before 2 years or before that. But I like to call it lifetime because, it lowers your expectation. And then it increases your desire to want to learn about the other person. And that means perpetually. That means forever and ever and ever, right? So there's that reduces the amount of the effect, the surprise effect on your marriage, right? Like, I never knew you would do that. If you're paying attention, you should not, first of all, no expectations. But naturally, I say that because I know naturally we have expectations. Just put your expectations in check. Okay, so that when you see certain behaviors, you just, you relax first, as opposed to, and find how you can respond properly as opposed to reacting, right? So the question here that I have here is, so can a marriage, I think she addressed this already. I'm not sure if she addressed this already. Okay. Can a marriage work? Okay, we already addressed that. Okay, let me go back to here. Okay. All right. So I feel alone right now. See, I really need her. I feel alone right now. But I think I got it because she handled it well when I wasn't here. Can in-law cause divorce? We addressed that. Can a marriage? We already addressed this one. Okay. All right, so let's address this one. How do I protect my marriage from toxic in-laws? Funny enough, did you address this question already? How do I protect my marriage?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was just similar. Looks like somebody else was talking about toxic in-laws.
Yeah, toxic
so it's just close enough.
It's real.
Okay.
This is real life stuff.
It just happened to be close enough because it's real. All right, so how do I protect my marriage from toxic in-laws? Don't allow them in. That's number one. We already say that earlier. Toxic in-laws are everywhere. Assume that you have a toxic in-law.
Now, how
Even
do
if
you
you're not
define
experiencing that yet.
How do you define
Toxic
don't
in-laws?
allow them in? Okay.
Good
You
question.
can say that and people still don't get it. Like, that doesn't mean you should go and slam the door in your in-laws' face.
Yes.
Yo.
Yes. There is no disrespect that's needed from your side, period. There's zero disrespect needed from your side. And disrespect are in layers too. If you are calling just to say certain things to them so that they can feel hurt, disrespect is basically in the eyes of the beholder. If they receive anything you say as disrespect, it becomes disrespect. Okay? If they receive anything you said, even with good intentions, right?
Oh, you can end
as
up
disrespect, right? Then
on the bad side.
Then that's disrespect. And what you should do is try to think ahead. The best thing is don't even call them on your marriage issues. Okay? Don't call them to report no one. Don't call them to report another person.
Yes.
Don't call them to report. Don't call your in-law to report your sister-in-law. Don't do that. Address the sister-in-law directly if you have to. Okay? The best thing is make sure you're not addressing your sister-in-law about your marriage. Zero. So if the issues is about your marriage, don't call anyone outside of a certified marriage counselor, right? Or a coach, right? About your marriage. Don't do it. It's not going to help you.
No, even your pastor.
If it's about your pastor is your counselor,
if they're certified,
make sure that they know what they're doing. But because most of them don't.
Let's keep it real.
But the point I'm making here is that if you have issue with your sister-in-law and it's about the relationship between you and your sister-in-law, then you can address that with your sister-in-law, because nobody else needs to come into that, because it's between you and your sister-in-law. Do not address your marriage issues with your sister-in-law. It's not worth it. Nothing good can come out of it. Okay. So that's the way you will protect yourself from toxic in-laws, is by not
involving
discussing your marriage issues with them.
Yes.
Even if they started discussion already, you want to respectfully say, "Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate your advice." Don't say, "With all due respect, we don't take advice from in-laws."
Don't do it. Right? Yes, that's true.
Because remember, it's not about what you say, it's about how it's received on the other end.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
With all due respect, I learned that we don't talk about our marriage, conjugal matters.
Now you're showing yourself.
because your you will come out if you don't learn this stuff.
It's true.
No matter how you try to frame it into words, the real person will come out.
Yeah.
So the idea is just keep in mind that you don't want to come off wrongly, because if it comes off wrongly, it can come right back and circle back into your marriage and then cause unhappiness in your marriage.
You don't want to start a war.
So did I answer the question? How do I protect my marriage from toxic? That I did?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with that.
All right.
100.
The next question here says, what does the Bible say about marriage and in-laws? You're already cheating. Let me just show it on the screen. Did you cheat?
Me?
Mm-hmm. Or you didn't see it before?
No, I didn't see it before.
What does the Bible say? Anyone on Instagram, the people on YouTube and Facebook can see it already. But anyone on Instagram want to tell us what the Bible says about marriage and in-laws? Anybody want to give it a shot? Let's see here.
It's the same old answer.
Anybody want to give it a shot? I mean, it's there, people quote it all the time until it becomes their issue and they forget.
Oh, yeah.
Genesis 2:24, excuse us if you don't read Bible. Therefore, a man shall leave his house and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh.
Yes.
Listen, we can dice that up into multiple different ways. I don't know how we're going to dice that up into multiple different ways, but it means what it means. It means once you leave, you cleave. Okay? It means you have to really step it up and become a man. And if you're a woman, you need to make sure you're married to a man. If you feel like you're not married to a man, you need to seek help. Reporting to your mother and your dad or running back home is not going to help.
It's not going to fix it, because now mommy and daddy will feel unsafe and be like, is this man capable? Just started a war.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eva just says leave to cleave. Yes, oh.
Yes, now. And I feel like, not attacking men, no, but I feel like men are the ones that have the hardest time cleaving. Women, we're ready to cleave for life.
I don't agree.
But then the men are doing one kind. You're like, okay, what's going on here? You want to be a mama's boy or you want to be a man?
But I don't agree. Watch what I'm doing as I'm telling her I don't agree. I'm hugging her up.
So you're manipulating me with
I'm manipulating her, but I don't agree.
It's all good.
I don't agree. Now, it could be either side. It depends on what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But you have to. A woman generally don't like the embarrassment. They want to protect the sanctity of their marriage.
Okay.
And they will try their best. From the examples I've seen, they will try their best. Now, they will beat you at that game if you start reporting her. Because she didn't learn that it's wrong in the first place. It's just a natural thing for a woman to not like embarrassment, right? A man feels like he's checking that woman. Let me call your mother to check your ass.
What?
Right? But a woman does not like the embarrassment. They don't like to put themselves on but a man is not thinking that all the way through that is embarrassment, right? So when you now wake up to the idea, that's what we're doing.
And that's what
we're just going to be reporting people.
All right now.
They will beat you at that game. Just keep in mind that a woman will multiply anything you give to her. Just keep that at the back of your mind always, okay? You give her misery, she will multiply for you, all right? All right, so let's go back to the next question here. What if What if there are no relationships with in-laws? You mentioned that earlier, something like that, right?
No relationships, okay.
Like you're not talking to the in-laws.
You have to make it. I wouldn't be with someone that has no relationship with his family, guys. That's a big
okay. So
no-no.
that's one way of looking at it. It's either the guy doesn't have a relationship, or your spouse doesn't have a relationship with his or her own folks, or they're talking about the wife don't have a relationship with the in-laws. Which one is it?
I don't know.
Let's address both.
If a man does not have a relationship with his family, his mother is I'm sorry, that's a red flag to me.
That's a red flag. Okay. If a man, now there are exceptions to every rule.
Right.
Okay. But if a man does not have a relationship with his people at all, and he's loving you, he's going to show you that paper at some point too.
Jesus, what are you going to report him to?
Whatever made him disconnect from his family like that, or vice versa, it could be a woman.
It could be a woman too.
It will show up later. Now, if you are present when all of the fallout happened, and you know what happened, and it's clearly something out of their control, then it's okay. But you met somebody and they don't have a relationship, and it's not really adding up what happened when they told you the story. How come I don't talk to my mother? Or vice versa, it could be husband or both, right? You need to.
There's some problems there. You need to know.
That's a red flag. I would just want to make sure. Now, if we're talking about the spouse does not have a relationship with the in-laws, everything we said so far is applicable, which is why don't you have really? That's a symptom. It's byproduct. Something that happened after.
There's a reason.
There's a reason why, and you need to address whatever those reasons are. It doesn't matter that you don't have a relationship. Essentially, what is the reason? Why? Because that why can go. They don't have a relationship is basically is this issue, right?
Right.
But the cause of it can happen again in other, like in your relationship.
It will end up affecting you.
It will affect you and your relationship one way or the other at some point, right? So I would just want to be careful with that. Doesn't mean life and death. It just means you're probably missing out on something, All right. So the next question says, what if you are considering separating from or leaving your husband because of the in-laws?
I mean, what would make someone want to separate from their husband because of the in-laws? It means that maybe the man has not been standing up for the wife.
Say that again, please.
I said might mean that the husband has not been standing up for the wife.
Right. So if a woman feels, so you're talking about.
Oh, excuse me, guys.
So she's talking about just wife. For some reason, she forgot us men. Can you imagine?
Oh, because the question said from the
focus
husband.
on what you're doing, Joe.
No, the question says from the husband.
I'm just kidding, baby. You're right, though. I didn't see that part. What if you're considering separating from or leaving your husband? Okay, so she's right. That's see, I was already picking. So if you're considering leaving your husband because of the in-laws, all right. Oh, this is a deep one. I'm stylishly waiting for her to come back, but let me just try to address this really quickly. Plus, all that door is distracting me too.
Sorry.
That's okay. I will just make sure that again, as usual, let's go back to why the fallout, what happened, and make sure it's not something that you're carrying over to another relationship. What happens when there's 76% of couples who remarry after divorce? 76, not 50. So 50% average. Studies show that 50% are ending up in divorce, right? But those that remarry, divorcees, 76% of them end up divorcing again. Okay. So, and that's usually because they carry the issues over to another relationship. So they are busy pointing fingers, as natural as it should be, right? They point fingers. That's the natural state of human beings. It's somebody and someone else is something else's fault, right? And it could be. But when you focus on that, it doesn't really allow you to get into a place where you don't have the room. You have a blind spot now. You don't have the room to really look at yourself and say, how much have how did that contribute? Right? How did that contribute into this matter? Right? how did that contribute into whatever is going on? You have a blind spot. You can't figure that out. You can't. You're not even willing to look at that because, again, naturally, it's just somebody else and something else's fault, right? So I will say that you want to make sure that like it's a lost cause, like it's a situation that you feel like no, I've worked on myself and this person is sick, or they're not like for example, I'll give you an example, a very simple example. If you're the one that's fighting for the marriage and the other person doesn't care about fighting for the marriage, right? Now, make sure you define fighting for the marriage properly, because they may be fighting for the marriage in a way that they just don't know how to fight, right? But if they want to be in a marriage, is essentially what I'm trying to say. Even if they are fighting the wrong way, if they want to be in the marriage, I would make sure that we go see a certified counselor and we take our time and go through multiple sessions with the counselor and or a coach, right? And then figure out what the root cause of the issues are. Because the worst thing you want to do, again, 76% of people that remarry end up divorcing because they take the same issues to another relationship. Okay? So you don't want to just carry the issues that may be responsible for the breakdown in your marriage. You don't want to carry that to another relationship. You want to make sure that you sort that out first before you go on. But what did you say before? Because I wanted to make sure I incorporate that. What did you say before?
About what I said, looks like the husband has not been standing up for the wife.
We don't know that. We're talking to the
It
wife.
could be.
We need to address the
It
wife.
could be.
It could be. It could be. And that's why what I said before you left is that make sure that it's a situation that you've worked on yourself and you notice that person is sick, or they can, like, for example, they don't want to love you. They don't want to be in a marriage. You don't want the person that doesn't want you, period. Correct. Okay? If you feel like you want them right now, it's because rejection breeds obsession. Okay, once your mind is clear, maybe you don't want this person. Okay, love
yourself.
But if this person wants this marriage, and you guys are just going through you're arguing all the time, and you're arguing and you're fighting the wrong way, right? If that's the issue, I will make sure I sort that issue out, so I don't carry at least 50% of the issues to another relationship.
It'll be recycled issues.
Right, because for the most part, like I said, 76% studies show divorce.
Yes.
After remarrying again, because they carry this. The issue following is a shadow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The question here, before I address this question, let me just see if there's anything. Okay, we got a question here. Let's address that question first. From Delina, aka Niku's baby.
Oh my God! Now you calling her out.
She already said hobby. She called herself earlier.
Oh my God!
How do we say no to an in-law considering staying with the family for a long time? That's a deep one.
Depends on the circumstance.
What is the circumstances?
Yeah.
Are they sick? As in, like, physically? And yeah, if an in-law is staying with you for a long time, and this is not what you want. If this is not what you want, it's not enough. If the spouse also doesn't want it, then there are two ways I would look at it. Okay, there are some things that happen in life that we don't get to control. Some of them are the example in that story we gave earlier, the accident, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have an elderly person that's living with you, and they're just elderly, and they have to live with you, right?
You don't have that choice.
Right. You gave an analogy earlier. You said if your hand was paining you, you're not just going to cut it off. You will deal with it and find a way to live with it. Unless they say it's dangerous to the other cells in your body. Right. And then they have to amputate.
Right.
So I would say if it's a mother-in-law, father-in-law situation, and like a lot of Nigerians have that issue where they're in America with you and they have to kind of stay with you, right? I would say find it in you to make it work and treat that like your opportunity to give to the other spouse. Okay. That's that specific situation.
Yeah.
Okay, there are multiple different ways this can happen. Okay.
What if it's an abusive in-law?
No, you can't. I can't be helping you and you're abusive.
Okay.
So
Because,
if the person is abusive and they're staying with us, what do we mean? Is that verbally, emotionally? What I would do is I would have the son of that person address that, or the daughter of that person address that. That's what I would do.
What
I'm
if
thinking
they
it
don't
through
see it
because
that way?
it's really there's no one size fits all.
What if
Right.
they don't see it that way? They're like, that's just mommy. This is what mommy do. You know, mommy just act out sometimes.
Then we have a problem.
Okay.
And it's good that you point that out because
that shit is
we
real.
always want to address things from a crisis standpoint. Not that we love crisis, because people deal with these issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always want to address that from someone who's going through a crisis issue, right? I wonder which Aragbaye is that? Is that Adiola? If that's you, say what's up.
It looks like an Adiola because it's a Aragbaye.
Does the person look like the Woli with a white sutana on?
I don't know this person. Excuse me.
It's probably him. Yeah.
Hi.
But he said what's up. Yeah, that's probably him.
Oh.
Yeah, but if the person is if this person is abusive with their words, they're abusive emotionally from an emotional standpoint, they have to be in your life. I would treat them like a person that has to be in your life, and you have to address. What's up, bro? Long time. It's Adiola. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have to treat like this is your harm, right? And this harm always, like for example, for me, there was a time that the nerves were acting up, whatever, kapatana, what do you call it? Right? I couldn't. It's just a simple issue, but I didn't understand it at first. But I had to deal with it,
because
and I had to learn how to do it because I was typing so much.
Same way
right?
all the time.
So, and I had to deal with it, right? So, if that person has to be in your life or has to be in your spouse's life, if you love your spouse, which I'm guessing you do, then you have to treat it that way. However, how you approach your spouse about it, you have to do it with respect to how your spouse feels about their mother or their father, anything like that. So if you know they love, you're not just going to say, your mother did this yesterday again. All of that is you're going to create additional negative energy, right? And you're still not going to get what you want. You're going to create more of what you're already getting, right? Which is negative, right? So I would say it really depends on the situation because there's no one size fits all. If there are other options, let's say there are siblings where they could stay with, I will explore those options as well.
Yes.
If it's a toxic situation. If they are leaning on you because they feel like you're the leader of the household, or they feel like your spouse is the leader of the household, which usually means the weight is too much. Because when they feel like they can trust you, sometimes the weight can be too much.
It can be.
They feel like you're the leader, you're the more of them.
You're the firstborn.
Right? And then they
firstborn.
They tend to call you for everything. They call you to fix every computer.
Is it a sin to be a firstborn? I'm just don't mind me, guys.
So it depends. You have to use lots of wisdom. But if everything, like if it's completely terrible situation where the person is sick, right? It's your opportunity to give, and just keep in mind that it's probably temporary anyway. So, for example, you may have an old person. Maybe in the next 10 years, 15 years, they get old and they go somewhere else, another world entirely, another planet, but you're not praying for that. But again, when you find joy in giving, okay? Somebody mentioned something here on Instagram earlier, and I want to make sure I mentioned that. So Victor Knight says, once you don't have a relationship with your family, you do what you want to give a relationship. I'm not sure, because you can't give what you don't have. Yes, and that's applicable here too.
It is.
If you have the space and you can give. Sometimes that means you have to be resourceful. That means you have to squeeze out space out of where there's no space, because there's really no other choice. That's like your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, and they have to stay, right? If it's just some random uncle that want to come and stay,
accuse me? Sorry, excuse me.
So I wanted to discuss all of the.
It depends on the random uncle's issues. Like, what's going on?
Or random cousin. I call them random because it's random to the in-law, because that's the in-law that's.
It even was entitled human being.
Entitled, and they're already here and they're staying forever. You need to help. Okay, I've had a few situations where people stay with me. What I did is I helped them get on their own feet.
Yes.
So it's not
help them plan something out.
Yes.
How long?
What is the plan?
Yes.
How are we going to go about it?
That makes sense.
You know, we said you're going to stay for 3 months, and let's try to go for 2 months. Let's see if we can get you a job. If 3 months extend, maybe extend to 4 months now, 5 months. But if you leave that hanging, first of all, if they came to stay with you and they don't know the surrounding the area, or they don't know America, I'm assuming it's just America. It could be anywhere.
No, it could be anywhere.
The reason why they're staying with you is they need to get on their feet. That's the bottom line, right?
Yes, people come from the eastern part or the west or the northern to Lagos. You know, what's your plan? Yeah,
what's the plan? If they don't have a plan, help them come up with a plan. You're giving. Again, give.
Yeah, because honestly, when we were growing up, we had uncles and aunties that would stay for a very long time. Like, it's like a norm in Nigeria. Yeah. And it shouldn't have to be, because it does impact relationships too. Now,
let's address the last one I'm going to address on that. What if it's a minor and auntie, your husband's older sibling, says her son or daughter should go and stay with you guys? That's common in Nigeria too. That's very common in Nigeria. If that's the situation, I will hope that you have a husband who will discuss that with you and see if that's okay with you.
Yes.
If it's not okay with you, it's not okay with you. They need to they need to explore other options. Now, if you have a husband that doesn't that does not consider your opinions at all, sad. That problem is not that baby that's coming to you guys. The problem is your marriage.
Yes.
You need to address that accordingly. Again, there are multiple layers. Sometimes you want to make sure you separate the layers and address the issue. The issue is you have a marriage where a person does not consider your wishes, or even check with you. That will cause resentment. Even if you're not a talker, you don't talk, that will cause resentment over time, and you will act out in other ways, and you won't even know what's going on, and both of you are not happy. Yeah. So I hope I answered that question. If I didn't, please ask subsequent questions to get through it. The next question here is... okay, the next question here says,
do mother-in-laws ruin marriages?
Before we get to that, Christy says it has to be same for every family member, doesn't matter who. Yeah, except the exception that I said, if somebody is sick or they are too old, that, you know, you have to just treat that like your hand that's hurting.
I mean, except if you have somewhere you can put them, like maybe like in America, you have nursing homes.
Well, that costs money.
That costs that's money out of your pocket.
My wife, that costs money.
No, I'm just saying. Options, you know.
That's another option. If you can afford it, if you can afford it, that's another option.
Because let's keep it real. When you have to take care of someone else with everything you got going on, it's a lot of work.
Let me keep it real.
And most people, let me just attack on the man. Like, they're not gonna help out. Is the wife doing everything? Come on, man. You gotta help out a little bit.
Let me keep it real. Anything I just said is easier said than done. Okay. But if you know that you value your marriage, you would weigh the options.
Yes.
And then see, like, okay, I guess this is what comes with my awesome husband, right? This is what comes with my beautiful wife. I have to deal with that. Just look at it from a standpoint of giving as much as you can. That's easier said than done, but it's the only way to attract eternal joy. All right. How's is gonna stay with? Okay, we answered that. All right. So this is another answer. Set restrictions for both families on the length of stay. Yeah, in the way of help them as a plan. So let's not call it restrictions. The same thing, you call it a different name, suddenly changes meaning entirely, and it creates a better it's like outcome.
A soft landing.
It's a soft landing, right? Because you land on them the wrong way.
Another thing is our people. I mean, we, not even our people. We what's it called, babe?
Okay, let's go to the next question. Baby, what do you remember?
We can make a big deal out of a small thing. So you can say one thing and it can mean 1,000 things. We can read meanings out of stuff. So we want to use soft landings when dealing with in-laws and all this family issues.
In the book we talked about you have the power to attach meanings to everything, right? Now, from your standpoint, how you give out words, you now have to now worry about the other person receiving it too.
You want to be sensitive.
Yeah, they have the power, but for most people don't exercise that power because they don't know they have the power. But you want to be sensitive to how you say what you say. Basically,
you don't want to be blunt. I mean,
that's the only problem I have with words like boundaries too. It's not like there's no boundary. It's how you go about it, right? If I ask my wife, we need some boundary in this household, she's not going to receive that well. I'm be like, boundary, your father. No, she doesn't say my father, but
like our dad. Yeah, that's our
like
father.
your dad. And I can still command boundaries and have boundaries in place without using that word.
Yeah.
Boundaries are absolutely necessary. You just want to keep in mind.
You got to know how to seduce your spouse. You have to know how to get what you want.
You have to use seduction, okay? Not just I speak blunt. I speak blunt will destroy your marriage.
The blunt speakers. I can't.
All right. So, do my mother-in-laws ruin marriage? I think we already answered that. Mother-in-laws will ruin your marriage only if you let them. You have to let them in first before they can ruin your marriage. All right. Their behaviors will ruin your marriage, but they also like respect. They don't want to disrespect themselves if they feel like, you guys figure each other out. You guys are good. They don't like disrespect either. Yeah. Okay. If they feel like you need help, when you now go and report yourself to them, they will help you.
That's right.
And their help is going to ruin your marriage. Okay.
You might receive a few
and insults. It's not their fault. And it's not about faults. So learn this stuff so that you can know how to figure out and navigate your way out of any miseries that may be going on with respect to mother-in-laws. Mother-in-laws are awesome. They are the reason why your spouse is around.
Okay. Let's not forget that. That is the truth.
Yoruba people say they are Orisha.
Okay.
Abi, that's what they say, right? Orisha Niya, right?
I don't know. I'm just gonna.
Well, they say they are gold.
Yaniwura, exactly.
Yaniwura.
I don't know about the Orisha part, but if that's what you're gonna say.
So all kinds of respect is due. Yes, in spite of, even them, So let's go on to the next question here. How do you set boundaries? We answered. Oh,
we answered that.
We did. Oh,
with the in-laws. How do you set? Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Let them know.
How do you set boundaries with your in-laws? Yeah, it's the first time. This question was in the commonly asked questions. That's why. That's why. Hello. Let's see. Somebody's connecting. Who is this? Who did I connect? I forgot. It's taking forever to connect. All right. So it's not connecting. It's probably network things. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue our conversation here. All right. So how do you set boundaries? You set boundaries. Boundaries is like respect. It's like trust. It's like, what's the other third one? It's like submission, right? That's the third one. Submission, trust, respect. Boundaries are like that. There are times that you do have to set boundaries. The only people you really have to set boundaries for are people that cross boundaries. And you use your word one time. If you have to use your word second time, there are probably ways you're contributing to them breaking those boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay. With the in-laws, if you have to set boundaries for your in-law, there is a leakage in your marriage. And that's the cause of the reason to having to want to set boundaries for in-laws. Once you and your spouse agree, right, that is usually more than enough boundaries for the in-laws. Because, again, they don't like embarrassment. They don't want to come into your marriage when there's a chance that they will be disrespected.
Right.
By both of you. You see, if it's just one person disrespecting them, right, they will take that as they will attack, like now your spouse will join forces with them and attack the spouse, right? Like let's say, I don't know if I said that right. If I am antagonizing you, if I'm on the other side, if we're not on the same team, and now some in-law came and is addressing, and now I'm not on the same team with you. And say, babe, you too, you should not have. That's
the reason
that
why
is
someone would.
an opening.
Yeah,
okay?
For them to come in. Yes. Absolutely.
There is no boundaries suddenly, right? So now you have a problem, right? But if we're on the same team, they don't like, and they know, they can feel the energy that you guys are on the same.
They can feel the energy.
The last thing they want is to come there. They don't want to feel the embarrassment of both of you attacking that person.
Right.
Okay? And that boundary is set automatically like that, and you don't have to do any work. So the work on setting boundaries for the in-laws is to work on getting on the same page with your spouse.
Yes.
And that's where all your energy should go, period.
So let me ask you one typical, question that people like, specifically in Nigeria. So Mama just came. She didn't even check with us. We're going out or we're available and Mama is here. And me and you were supposed to go out. We have a party. We're supposed to leave in 30 minutes and Mama is here.
You use her.
Use her for what? Maybe there's no babies here. Oh. And she just said, I just said, let me come and visit you guys.
See, I'm always thinking of ways to make the whole situation comes in our favor. Right. If there are babies, she will be babysitting. If there are no babies, she will be in the house by herself and I will lock our bedroom. And we'll go where we need to go.
Okay.
You don't want to make drama out of that.
It shouldn't have to be a big deal. She can stay that day.
Right.
But how do you know when she's leaving?
But long after
staying
that.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks.
Honestly, you should work on the relationship with Mama that Mama doesn't even want to do that kind of thing.
Right.
Now, if Mama happen to do things like that, Mama, like that. I saw the maybe she feels that free, and even your wife doesn't even mind because she has that kind of solid relationship with your mother.
Right.
That's what people should be working on.
Yeah. So actually working on the relationship.
The relationship.
Okay.
If you have a situation where they are crossing boundaries from time to time, that is a sign that there's problem in that marriage. Not with Mama. Mama is only crossing boundaries because
she's allowed.
Benio,
preach. You better preach it.
How do you say that in English? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
Like anyone would take advantage of a situation.
Yeah, people do. People will abuse situations when they can. I will.
Yeah.
You don't think I'm an abuser? It's because of systems. It's because I know there's no benefit in the long term. That's why I'm not an abuser. Meaning that puts me in check. Okay, that puts me in check. People are abusers. People are narcissistic. People are manipulators.
Yes.
Human beings are narcissistic. Get with that.
A situation that will feed your selfish needs, you will take advantage of it because human beings, we tend to put ourselves first as we should.
Yes.
So
we
narcissistic.
We all are narcissistic. You need systems in place.
Excuse me. Don't do that voice.
This is what keeps my Christy says, if you have anything to say about them, talk to your spouse. Yeah, if it's that negative, it's probably a better idea.
Yes.
And both of you discuss. Yes. If you have something negative to say about them, again, it's usually, if you dig deeper, there's problem in your marriage. Come to a conclusion and let your spouse do the talking, not you. Yeah, if it all has to come down to somebody has to say something, you should let your spouse do the talking. And if your spouse can't do the talking and it's really, really killing you, then that's between
killing you softly. What even your mother-in-law now say, it's your wife that is teaching you this. You've never said that to me before.
That means there was already problem before too again.
Yeah, so how do you handle that?
As a man,
if
I go to my mother, that's a good question. If I go to my mother and she goes, it's your wife. She's a woman. She's testing me. A woman is always testing you.
She is testing you.
And I will let her do the talking she needs to. She needs to get some things out. I will let her get it out. Just like I would with my wife. I will let her get it out. And I will feel zero need to react.
To react.
Or defend. Okay? That doesn't mean I'm dismissing her. I will listen to her. I will let her finish everything she has to say. Because I will learn. I will learn at least how not to behave. At the very minimum, I will learn how not to behave.
So what do you say to people that says silence means that you are excusing the behavior?
No, silence is not silence until I'm numb. If you feel in my face that I'm numb to you when you're talking, that's when it's silence. But if I'm actively looking at you, just like I just did, right? When you're talking, that's not silence. I'm engaged. I'm listening. Remember, I'm trying to learn. You're like Mama is venting. I need to learn something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an opportunity to learn something new. It's your wife. Let her do her talking. She's not mad. She will get tired of that.
True. That is
will.
so true.
But if I'm weak.
But if you engage.
If I am weak, right? Mama buy your me so. Am I so me like that? Well, I'm not helping my matters.
Yeah.
You know.
It's gonna be World War III.
And that's a testament that I have a bad relationship with my mother too. You know. So none of that is good either way. There's no how you shape it back and forth. It comes down to the same core principles, right? God, purpose, self. Okay, it comes back to that. But sometimes we have to dig a little deeper, which is why we do these sessions. So don't be there at the time of conversation. Yeah, if it's negative, if the conversation is negative in any respect.
I love Fumi. She's like, I beg, leave Mama to her imagination. Yes.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't know how to.
Let Mama be Mama. You know, that's
they don't
Mama.
know how to.
Orisha, gold.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
You gotta let Mama be Mama. You know. Do you set boundaries with in-laws that are very nice and want to have a close relationship with you? I mean, you probably want a close relationship with them. Boundaries is the last thing that comes to your mind when you have a relation with people.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I say you have to pay attention to emotions and feelings. The last thing that comes to your mind with somebody that you like, right? You just like them. You like being around them. Like there are people that, you know, that we just like. Like we
don't mind them being around anytime.
They could pop up. Hey, yeah. I'm over. I'm coming over. And there are people like, who's coming? Right. It all comes down to feelings.
Oh, this is real. This is real. Yeah. So true.
True. She says should you? Yeah. This is actually Delina. It should you set boundaries for people that are very nice and want. If you may be mixing something up. Maybe it's your spouse.
Or maybe you don't trust them. Is there a trust issue?
We've been through this before. Baby.
Have we?
Yes. I won't mention name.
Okay, give me give me a clue.
Somebody I'm not feeling that person.
Oh, okay.
But you're feeling the person.
Yes, I agree.
And they want to come over all the time.
Yes.
Of course, wife wants them to come over all the time, right? Because this and then wife, now because our marriage was not solid at that time, right?
Yes.
Wife now feels like I'm attacking her.
Yes.
Because I'm chasing away all our friends.
This is real. Okay.
Just got real. Right? How would we address that? Right? So that's friends now. It could have been in-law.
Yes.
Right? The in-law is nice. They're nice, but I just don't want them around.
Maybe
they're not nice enough. Maybe they are nice. You just don't like them. You're not feeling them. There's no crime in that.
Or maybe you just like your space. You know, sometimes some of us, we just like to be zen on our own. We don't want people in our space.
It could be they're over too much. Yeah. Your spouse doesn't feel that way.
Like, wait, I'm not feeling that.
Again, your spouse doesn't feel that way. Again, your marriage has a leakage in there.
Yes.
That's the main issue.
Yes.
Okay.
And now spouse is like,
how does it reach 1 hour already?
Do they not have something that they are doing with their lives? How is this person so free? They are coming over to sit down all the time. It becomes a real issue. Yeah,
it becomes a real issue. So I would definitely say if they're nice, let's redefine nice. What do you mean nice? Because they're not, clearly you don't feel like they're nice enough for you to be thinking about boundaries for them. But I want to have a close relationship. Okay, now I think I understand a little bit better. They want, because nice guys finish last. They're nice, but they rub you off kind of wrong way. They irks you a little bit. You're not really feeling this person. You don't enjoy being around them. They're nice,
but they want to force themselves on you.
They just want they are leech.
I don't like leeches. I'm sorry. I'm one of those. I like my space.
Basically, you want your space.
Yeah.
And you call it boundaries. Okay. All right. So that's an interesting one. So
come on.
That
suck me up, man. Energy is everything.
If they're coming over all the time or they see your car outside and they want to stop.
Jesus, do they not have a job or something?
I would just basically be on a conference call and I say, what's up? Oh, I'm in the conference. I'm going to be busy all day. You do that a few times.
But I'm outside. Or you say, I'm not home.
No,
I've never had that
situation.
No. They are calling. Where are you? Oh, I'm not home. I'm at the grocery. But I'm in front of your house and your car is right there. Oh my God.
You know the problem with that?
How glitchy is that?
You know the problem with that?
Yeah.
Again, it's the same issues all around. Okay. We'll come right back on Instagram.
Oh my God!
Watching us, okay?
We're eating the third hour. It's 2:49.
No, we're about to be done in 10 minutes.
Okay, good.
All right. Now, here's what I will say about that.
So I gotta feed my babies.
Here's what I will say about that. Let's see. Share this, and let's go and share this. Part 3. We'll label later.
Wait, that's part 3?
Yeah, basically.
Jesus.
We're about to be done in 10 minutes.
That's
we need
scary.
to make sure we're done in 10 minutes. All right. Because
this marriage thing, you can't keep. You can't finish marriage.
Like a few days ago, we're like, we're gonna do this 2 hours. 2 hours should be good enough,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then we go talking so much.
What were you saying? If somebody is stopping by,
yes.
you should do. Bible says you should do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Your Bible says,
one day.
If you know that this is a persistent issue, it's probably not going to be beneficial for you to be lying, because the lie will catch up and it will feel wrong. You want to be just honest, okay? If they are being a leech, you don't have to tell them the truth that you're not on a conference call, but you can open the door and say, hey, what's up? Oh, I'm on a conference call. I need time.
So that's a white lie right there.
You want to come back later? If you do that a few times, they will get the message. They will get the message. If that's like somebody who just stop by. Now, we're talking about setting boundaries for in-laws. Somebody who is nice but want to have a close relationship with you. They don't get to control when you pick up the phone, if that's what you're talking about. You set a certain time where you return your calls because you're a busy person. And rightfully so. And they accuse you like, you don't pick up my call.
So bougie.
Okay, you say that a few times, they will get the message. And they are still nice, and you're just being nice, because the last thing you want to do is be disrespectful or say, leave me alone, Jerry, because there are people that can't control themselves, that's what they will end up doing.
Yeah, like you're doing too much.
Too much.
Like, wait, what did I do? You become the evil wife.
Talking back with mama will not do any good, because they already concluded in their head. Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
People already made up their mind. You don't want to engage.
It's pointless again with them.
Don't engage energy that's not going to benefit you, All right. So let's see. I think I have a couple more.
Hey, you have 1 or 2 last questions, dude?
Two.
You can't be having one.
Is living with your in-laws a bad idea? Wait.
Wait, living with your in-laws?
Is it the husband or the wife that's living, or the couple living with the in-laws?
No, I think the couple living with the in-laws.
That's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea, but life does happen sometimes. So let's not.
However, life can kick you in the butt.
Yes.
And that's the resource that you have available.
Yeah.
Which is why, again, you never know when you need people. You want to make sure that you approach things from an understanding standpoint.
Yes.
Always. That means take time. Wisdom, right?
Yes.
Because you never know. People go through ups and downs in life.
They
do. People go through ups, highlights, and then, and it's terrible. And it has nothing to do with mimoshe. With skills, how do you say that in your English? Oh Lord. It has nothing to do with your abilities.
How good you are.
It has nothing to do with your abilities.
Or your righteousness.
Ability
and all that stuff.
That's not to do with your righteousness
life
either.
Life can kick your ass real bad.
Yes.
And you've been good all of your life.
So you want to make sure that you nurture your relationships.
Yes.
All of the relationships, the in-law relationship, all of that. You never know. However, when you do have options, it is a terrible idea. If it's a temporary situation, then it's just temporary. Because I'm sure you would appreciate that it's temporary, and you would also do your best to make sure that that moment is okay, and you make sure you work hard to get yourself and your family out of that place.
That situation.
But if everything else being equal, as in like you have choices, it's a terrible idea. You need space.
Yes.
And the sanctity of marriage will be tampered with when you go into that space, even when it's just the only option. It will be tampered with, but with some patience, you can get through it. That's the answer to that.
Yes.
And the last but not least, how do you deal with disrespectful in-laws? That was basically the topic. And I think we kind of covered.
We spoke more about disrespectful in-laws today.
Yes.
Than anything ever.
How do you deal with disrespectful in-laws? You don't deal. You know,
fact.
If it's about your relationship with that particular in-law, you make sure you keep it strictly about your relationship between you as an individual, not as couple, as individual and that person. You want to deal with that person accordingly. If it's just a situation that that's about you, your marriage, you don't deal. There's no deals. It's a
what
no,
if they
no
come in
zone.
your house and just test you and say you?
That's personal.
You know, when they come in your face, you know how it is.
That's getting personal. That's getting personal.
How do you deal with that?
That's getting personal. Make sure you're on the same page with your spouse. We mentioned that, okay?
Sure.
Make sure you understand that it's a weakness so that you can respond accordingly, appropriately, okay? If you think it's a wickedness, if you think it's coming out of wickedness, your response will be wrong. Think of it as weakness first because it helps you, because you can listen out for things you may not even know.
Okay.
All right. Just always assume the best case scenario. It must be that at the wrong time. Assume the best case scenario. Assume that it's not wickedness.
That when they come and your in-law is just pissed off at you, they feel like you did something wrong to their own to your spouse or something. They give you one dirty slap, bam. Turn the other one and let them slap it. No, we gotta give this.
No, we're calling the cops. That's assault.
Some where the in-laws.
No, that's assault. You call the cops. That's assault. Now we already mentioned that.
Yoruba adage said you can't go to the court and come back and be friends.
Yes, you can.
So okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Yeah. So those are those manipulative things.
We used to watch a show.
The manipulative things that they've put in the system to manipulate and put people down. Yes, you can call the cops if someone comes and cause bodily harm to you. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe when they learn their lesson, they'll never do it again.
There used to be a show.
Which one?
On TV. I think in Lagos, you guys had Boromiro.
Boromiro.
Right? In Ondo State, we had Ijoko Ojogbo.
Oh wow.
Guess who takes themselves? Guess who takes themselves there? His family now. And they will still be family after. Sorry, baby. She's sipping. And it will still be family.
Yes.
Even in court of law.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of people that take themselves to that situation. But again, when you are being threatened from a physical standpoint, you know, don't mix that up with your marriage. Address that accordingly. Pull people back and say, no, we're not talking about my marriage.
Yeah.
What happened with you? You know,
I don't even agree with the whole when you go to court, you are no longer family. When you actually have real issues happening in family, like example of a brother molesting a niece, are you telling me cover that up because that's your brother? No. You sort it out and make sure that nigga is taken care of. That's how I feel.
That's it.
There are consequences for action, and you have to deal with your consequences.
Let's say,
I mean, it's real out here.
If your wife end up in a physical fight with your sibling, something like that, it has, of course, this problem with your marriage, but that's physical assault. Now you have to address that immediately. Pull people back. Tell people to go to their house and let things simmer, like let things.
No, is the wife supposed to be slapped by the sibling, or the wife is beating the sibling? Is that okay? None of that is okay.
No.
So you have to let people know there are consequences for action.
Yes.
Let us stop giving excuses for bad behavior. That's why these things don't stop. Yep. You slap me, you're gonna get checked. Okay? Yep. I might not sue you, but you might learn a lesson or two. Next time you won't slap me again. How about that?
Yeah. So here's something that you guys can do for us. Here's something you can do for us because we're rounding up right about now. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you so much.
If you missed the beginning, you missed out. Go watch the beginning. I'm telling you, you missed out big time.
Marriage issues.
All right. So
serious
if
ones.
you missed the big thing. We have on YouTube. We have a goal of 5 thumbs up. So make sure you give it at least 5 thumbs up. But wherever you are, Facebook, make sure we get at least 5 thumbs up. Share this video on YouTube and Facebook. It's still going to be live. Share it as much as you can, because I know people. Most of you have people that will benefit from this.
Yes, so
but yes, you're also supporting us because it's encouraging when we see that people are watching it. I'll be honest with you. The first one we did with DVN, we with Auntie Shola, we had over 200 views. The second one had like 30 views.
Oh.
So we're not discouraged. We're just saying it to be better.
No, we gotta go out there and just keep spreading the word because marriage is beautiful. We have to keep saving our marriages. These issues, for the most part, they're not a big deal. It's how we handle them at the end of the day.
Your marriage is a reflection of how you handle your other relationships.
All right.
Your life will just be a lot better,
Easy.
When you just know how to nurture the relationships that you have, either with your siblings, with your mother, with your in-laws. It's just, marriage is like an institution, so it's easy to pick on it. But it's really how you handle it that you handle everyone else in your life, at your job. It helps in career. It helps you seduce people to give you promotions at work. Like real life stuff. So. There are many people who benefit out of this. We do have a goal of helping at least 1,000 marriages per year, but we can't do it alone. Thank you so much.
We have to do it together. Thank you. Thank you for hanging with us. Don't judge my wine and my Malian music, It is well. It is well with our souls. Thank you. For me. God bless you. Hey.
Why do I feel like you're looking at me? Are you? I was like, why do you feel like you're looking at me?
I'm not, baby. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at you. Don't get into it. What? Yeah. All right, baby.
Thank you for me.
I gotta go feed the bubbles and the babies. Thank you, guys.
Peace.
That was nice. I enjoyed myself.